Here we go.
Wait, here. I'm going to start with this right here.
Oh, yeah. We got to crack. Everybody crack. Cooter's back here behind the controls. Ready? Everybody. 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh.
Excellent.
That's a good crack. That's a great crack.
I'm just dropping shit.
Yeah, I see that.
What the hell was it?
Nothing but keeping it. Nothing but professionalism around here.
Yep, nothing but professionalism.
Welcome back. As we see, we got a nice little new setup thanks to Gringo over here.
Hey.
Fucking killed it. Just want to shout that out real quick.
Yep.
This is all you. I did absolutely nothing but berate you.
Dude, I just built some furniture and threw a bunch of shit together on the shelves and on the wall.
Hell yeah.
So
love it.
it is what it is. We're going for a what I've been told is from outside sources, because I asked a couple of people's opinions on this, and I have been told that, and this is what we were going for, it's very 70s retro cowboy, but with a strong hint of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Love everything about it.
Love it. Going for it.
You fucking killed it.
Thanks, man.
Cooter, hit that shit.
Ooh, he's gonna hit the intro.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds good.
God, I love it.
That's great. I can't wait for people to see this episode.
Yeah, dude. Compared to the first one.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be like, "What the hell? It's crazy." Yeah.
They're never gonna hear the full intro.
No, never. All right. Here we go. Welcome to the Meet Your Maker podcast, where it is hosted by myself, Gringo Tactical, otherwise known as Holden, and I am here with my esteemed sexual life mate, partner,
Soulmate, some might say.
Soulmate, buddy to forever be, Trey, otherwise known as Vandal Art.
Loves using my government name.
Yeah, so love letting everybody know exactly who he is. We got Cooter back here.
Hell yeah, Cooter.
Behind the controls, we got him a new desk set up with the switches and all that fucking mumbo jumbo for podcasts. I did some. Excuse me. Goodness.
Starting strong this episode.
Phew. No, I did some cable management and reorganized some things around here, and
Killed it.
kind of decorated a little bit. So yeah.
Nice.
What we talk about on the last one?
Last one was all about you, Holden.
Oh,
It was Meet Your Maker Holden edition.
oh, fun. Okay.
All about Gringo is actually the name of the episode. All about Gringo.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Well, when's that gonna drop?
Well, by the time they're seeing this, it's already dropped.
Yeah, that's true.
But as of right now, we just released our first episode. Obviously, things have been upgraded since then.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have dropped January 30th.
Yep.
And so people have had about 2 weeks to listen to us talk about you for about 2 hours, which I don't think it was enough time.
Yep.
You know what I realized we forgot to talk about?
What's that?
Your rugby league. But it's okay.
Oh, did we pass it because I was going on different rants
It's all
and
good,
tangents?
but
Okay.
it's perfect because I have a special guest that we're going to have in that runs a rugby team. And
Oh, wow.
We're going to talk about it then.
Nice. I don't remember any of the rules. I don't remember shit about fuck when it comes to it. I just know I played it for a couple years and that was it.
In an inner city.
Oh. Yep, inner city, Milwaukee United. Yep.
But we'll get more into that when we have one of the guests I'm looking forward to the most come on here.
Cool.
And then I apologize to everybody if I'm coughing during the podcast or anything like that. I got hit with the flu pretty bad last week. I've never been that sick in my life. So the only thing that's remaining is a cough. So if I cough here and there, I apologize. I don't mean to cough in your ear.
You keep that shit to yourself over there.
Dude, you already kissed me when I walked up.
I saged him when he came in here.
He saged everything. It was strong sage.
I've been getting into my spiritual side a little bit, I got a little Santa Muerte altar up here. And a lot of that stuff was gifts and presents from other people. I did buy the candle. But yeah, there's, dabbling with that a little bit. It's cool. Whatever. Some people have their opinions about that and it being voodoo demonic and all this other shit, but it's like it is what it is. It's just
it's a fucking vibe, dude.
Yeah, it's a vibe. Implicit adds to it, and I'm I'm on my journey. So we're doing what we do.
All right, Holden. What's today's episode about?
Today's episode is about you, boo boo.
Shit.
Yeah, you like how he just brought that up out of nowhere. He's like, "What's today's episode about?" Oh, I know it's about me already. Yeah, so it's all about you, dude.
I had no idea. I'm getting blindsided.
But yeah, you guys watching this? Whenever this is coming out, well, today we released the first episode today.
We did. Big day.
Yeah, big day.
Lots of headaches.
Lots of headaches. You've been taking the brunt of all the video editing and lining everything up and stuff like that.
Yeah,
How's
so
that
it's a little fucked here and there in the first 2 episodes, so that's my bad. But yeah, it's been a learning experience. I've been having fun with it. Definitely need to get a new laptop for all the video editing.
Yeah.
But doing good. Just Spotify was being asked today.
Yeah.
I had to talk to good old shout out Raj. That's what it says his name was when I was IMing with Spotify today because it wouldn't upload the file.
Okay.
It'd get complete it and it'd be like, oh, file upload error. Try again later. And so I tried for like 24 hours and then got in contact with support and got it figured out. But learned a lot. Other episodes already uploaded, ready to go.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
We're good.
That's cool.
You know, I've been handling the video stuff. You've been handling the studio.
Yeah.
Both very important things.
Yeah. We got the cameras. So we're running a regular, I don't even know what you would call your camera in the middle there.
I don't know if it's a DSLR. It's just a Sony ZV-1.
Yeah, so we're running
Great for video.
We're running that in the middle for the wide angle, and then we're just using our cell phones for the other angles. We're using a cell phone for me, and then we're using a cell phone for him.
Yeah, and hopefully this time no camera dies like episode 1 and episode 2.
We have also got power now, so we've got new mounts. They're on these suction cup mounts that are on a closet door in the background. You won't see that, but I'll explain it for you. But whatever, you could see it on like some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Like we'll share it and whatnot. But we got chargers plugged into them now, so that way we don't die.
We're making mistakes, but we're learning, and that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
The things that we fucked up, we have not fucked up again.
We are learning. Cables are completely cable managed for the most part. Yeah, I'm trying to set up the whole space for success or whatever. But yeah, with that, we've put a lot of time, effort, and our own personal dinero into this endeavor.
About 20,000.
Don't fucking believe him. We didn't put that much.
That was just a callback to episode 1. You don't know. There it goes.
Yeah, now I remember. Yeah. But
my mother-in-law made a comment about that today.
Oh no!
Yeah,
what'd she say?
She just texted me. She's like, "I really enjoyed the episode. It was great knowing more about you." And what did she say? She's like, "And everything that you're about." And then she made another comment to my wife about it. It was more direct, but it still didn't really make any sense. And it's like, oh, does Trey need to get another job? Sounds like he's hurting for cash.
The friendly little family jabs are always fun.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well.
They're always fun.
20 grand's 20 grand, Lisa.
I get them all the time. Yeah. Don't worry. I live with a house full of women, so it is constant, the shit talking I get. But I also dish it out too, so. But with that, we've put a lot of time and resources into this project and this endeavor and whatnot, and with that, what we've decided is we are going to set up a Patreon. Oh, he's coughing. He's sick. There's that fucking...
I'm doing my best.
Zorro virus that he's got.
So stupid.
Zorro.
Anyways, the Patreon.
Yes, the Patreon. So, in the process of setting up, it's already created. We just got to do some fine tuning and stuff as far as like descriptions, bios, and stuff like that. Make sure everything we're going to offer is going to be legit.
And make sure that we have enough stuff to offer to you guys to make it worth it. Like, we want to make sure there's some kind of value there, whether it's comedic or
exactly. So
informational or just us crushing beers in a garage listening to Creed.
Yeah, we're going to be offering all kinds of stuff. Cooter, if you look on the laptop up there, there should be a tab for Patreon on. If you can scroll down a little bit, there should be a section where it has the bio on there.
We really need to get Cooter his own mic.
Yeah, we got to get Cooter his own mic, and then we got to get a little TV set up somewhere so we can be like, Cooter, pull that shit up. But because I came up with a list of all the things we're going to offer. So we're going to do behind the scenes content, right? We exclusive Patreon content only. We might do exclusive drops, product drops on there as well. We might end up doing product and gear reviews on there. I put that on there as well. So that way, different makers and such out there, if you've got different products or things of that nature you want us to review, like send them on over. We'll look them over. We'll make a personal video going over it, and we'll release it to our subscribers and our audience. So, but yeah, Patreon would be cool. I haven't really set up. So on Patreon, there's a couple, you can have tiers, I think. I think for right now, what we're going to do is we're just going to do one tier.
Yep.
It's going to be $5 a month.
Yep.
And with that, for right now, you're going to get full access to everything. So whatever we decide to put on there as far as behind the scenes content, us goofing around, maybe stuff we can't really release here.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Oh, like OnlyFans content, maybe?
Oh, yeah. You've been taking a lot of pictures of my feet. It's weird.
Yeah. I'm trying to make some money somehow. Dude.
That's fair.
But yeah.
The studio didn't pay for itself.
But yeah, so you guys will get full access to everything. And then eventually, as we grow and stuff, we do have plans to, make more tiers that will cost a little bit more as the tiers go up, and we'll offer more and more exclusive.
And we're brainstorming stuff like as the tiers go up, single run prints that you don't even have to buy, they'll just be mailed to you, stuff like that, custom art for me, sticker packs, stuff like that. Nothing crazy to start with, but just something to keep an eye on if that's something that you want to do to support us.
Maybe like limited collab items that we're doing with other makers or artists or creators, and you can get like first access to it through the Patreon.
Yeah.
So,
but we appreciate you guys regardless, whether it's the Patreon, whether it's just watching, sharing.
Absolutely.
I mean, the amount of shares we got on episode 1 of just people being like, this is awesome, right? And posting it to their story. And then I got messages from people who posted on their story, and they're like, they got messages like, oh, dude, I love Vandal. Yeah. I don't know who the other fucking guy is, though. They didn't say that. But they're like, I love Vandal. And I was like, oh, it's cool to see.
I'm small potatoes.
Yeah, no, you're not small potatoes. You're big potatoes.
Thanks.
Big old sack of potatoes.
Thanks. But yeah, dude, it's been cool. So yeah, Patreon's gonna get set up. But yeah, anything else been going on? Everything else been going good?
Yeah, just been sick
and stuff.
Been a little sick. Gearing up for a SHOT Show. We're gonna do some fucking podcast interviews there. It's only gonna be me. I'm just gonna call it like Vandal on the street or Vandal on the prowl or Vandal in the back alleyway. I haven't decided yet.
Oh, okay.
But it'll be a couple episodes with some people I'm meeting out in SHOT. It's not gonna be quite this setup, right? It's gonna be like a single camera, some lapel mics. But I'm super excited to be able to see some people that normally I wouldn't be able to. Guys that live in like Florida or like Wyoming, that we're all gonna be together, and
that'll be cool.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm only gonna be in SHOT for a couple of days, mainly because I don't like crowds that much, and I'd miss my family because I'm a bitch. This dude loves his family. What a queer.
No.
But yeah, I'm super stoked for that and getting content there. I'm more excited getting content for Meet Your Maker than I'm even excited to get like content for Vandal. Like, that's where my brain's been, is just Meet Your Maker content.
Yeah. I'm excited for this too, dude. Like, it's coming together slowly but surely. Like, we've made huge leaps and bounds since episode 1, and this is going to be the 3rd episode. So
episode number 3,
hitting
our stride. We're peaking right now. This is peak. It's all downhill from here.
Oh god, I really hope not. So, but yeah, dude. So today's episode is all about you. So
about me.
If you're ready, we'll jump into
Let's fucking dive into it. And for just everyone knows, I hate talking about myself. So I'm digging deep here to try to go more in depth than what I normally would.
For sure.
I'm a pretty private person, especially when it comes to like my younger years. And that's not really anything, because it's like, I don't know. It's just something that I don't think about often.
Yeah.
So like most people who know Vandal from like when Vandal started, and that's like when I was like getting into a really good headspace finally after years. So I guess you guys will get a different look at me today than what you normally see on Instagram of me just playing sad cowboy music and banquets.
Man. Everybody's going to get to know you now.
Shit. I'm not a great person.
You're a good guy. He's a good guy.
I try.
Most of the time. But yeah, man. So, where'd you grow up? Where did Trey / Vandal? Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you get your start at?
Nothing crazy. I actually grew up in Arizona.
Okay.
So my parents' background, my mom grew up in Long Beach, California. She was the youngest of 5 kids. But she grew up in Long Beach. My dad grew up in Indiana, in a very small town called Elwood, Indiana. My grandfather was a evangelic priest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he actually traveled the country with, I'm going to get it wrong, I think it was a Harvey Graham. It was like the big evangelic guy on TV and stuff. He actually was like the opening act for him, where he used to travel the country with him and preach with him and everything like that. And it ended up with them being in Arizona, and that's where my dad spent his like teenage years. And then he joined the Navy, traveled all over the world, finally got stationed in Long Beach, met my mom, and then they ended up, after my dad got out of the military, moving to Arizona. So for most of my childhood, I grew up in Glendale and Peoria. Burping here, I'm sorry.
Is that California?
No, so there's a Peoria, there's a Peoria, Illinois. There's a Glendale, California.
Yeah.
There is. But there's a Glendale here. It's where the Cardinal Stadium is.
Okay.
It's West Valley. So I grew up like northwest of Phoenix.
Okay.
And that's where I spent most of my childhood. Not too much moving around in general. My dad really wanted to keep consistency for me and my siblings and stuff.
Okay.
But grew up in Arizona my whole life. I never really traveled to any state besides like Arizona and California until I joined the military.
Yeah.
It's like, as a child, it's like, okay, during the school year, we're in Arizona. In the summertime or winter break, we're spending all of the time in Long Beach. So
yeah,
you got my ass wandering like the streets of Long Beach at like 7 years old by myself.
Yeah.
Which Long Beach was not super nice at that time, but I didn't know.
Right now.
It is. I mean, I thought it was. Last time I went was like 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, it's a lot nicer than when I was growing up.
Oh no, dude.
No?
Me and my wife now, we lived there in a condo on Ocean Boulevard.
Oh yeah, it's Ocean Boulevard.
Specifically the Aqua Towers, so people can look that up, whatever. But we lived there. God, what was it? 20 would have been 4 years ago.
What's
3 years ago.
What's the main mall that's in Long Beach?
The main mall?
There's like a big old mall right there in Long Beach.
At
least there's one. I don't know. I just know as a kid at like 10, 11 years old, dude, I was just like walking to the mall by myself.
There's all the stuff down by the water. Like we lived close to Junipero Beach.
Oh, we weren't super close to the water where we were at, where my mom's family was at.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, mainly grew up in Arizona. Peoria's booming now. It's super bougie. But when I was growing up, we moved into a house in Peoria because my parents wanted my grandparents to move in with us, which lasted about a year till they fought enough to where my grandparents left, which sucked. But when I moved there, dude, it was all desert. Like you still had coyotes hopping walls, stealing dogs and shit like that. And so up until even high school, it was still mainly desert, which now going back, it's just all developed and I hate it. Like I miss just open land.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah.
Well, so like let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
So like your childhood, right?
Yeah.
So like what were you doing as a kid? Like what were your what were your hobbies? Like were you into skateboarding or were you into like sports or what were you doing?
Not a whole lot. So I didn't have like the happiest childhood. So I have an older brother. We don't talk at all. Mm-hmm. But he's my half brother. Mm-hmm. So my mom had him with her ex-husband before she met my dad. Mm-hmm. And so he was like the favorite, right? And then because my dad adopted him, he's like, oh, I got to give him extra attention to make him feel like he's my son. And so I very much got put on the back burner to where it's like, it was definitely like emotional neglect and stuff like that. And like me and my dad are good now, but even now he realized like, oh, I fucked up. Like I didn't have a relationship with my dad or even my mom really ever. My dad not until I was like 12 or 13 years old. Yeah. So the only people I had in my life were my grandparents. Mm-hmm. And they lived with us for about a year before leaving back for Indiana. And they were the best people ever. So like for me, it was just whatever. Like my grandma was super artsy. Mm-hmm. So she was like always like hand draw me books and stuff like that. And she's an amazing artist. And then she'd do like arts and crafts with me during the day. And then like at night be like watching baseball together. right? And then I'll never forget, like, the rule was when she hung out with me, she's like, hey, we can watch cartoons all day, but as soon as The Price is Right is on, that's what we're watching. It got to the point where I fucking look forward to The Price is Right, dude. I'm so good at guessing retail prices of things, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane. That skill is still there.
That's cool, dude.
But I lived with them for about a year, so when they left, it was pretty traumatic. They left in the middle of the night. They didn't say goodbye to my parents or my older brother. They just came and said goodbye to me. And they dipped, and they came back, like 8 years later.
What was the reason for that? I mean, you don't have to get into it. You go as deep as you want.
No, so the reason for that, it was just like my grandparents are hard to live with, I guess. Like my grandpa would come out in the middle of the night and like make a bunch of food and stuff because it's like a dual master. So there's like a master bedroom upstairs and downstairs.
Gotcha.
And so he would just like get up in the middle of the night and just like make a giant mess and not clean it up. And my mom would get pissed. And they would just fight. But like me being young, I never saw any of that. Like they hid it very well from me.
Yeah.
But that was like a big toll to where like the two people that like I genuinely felt cared about me left. So that caused like a lot of issues between that and just like not really having parental figures. Like my dad growing up, like my parents made a huge spectacle of like my older brothers doing sports, like doing soccer. Like they were at every game, every weekend. Mm-hmm. And if I wanted to play sports, I couldn't because it would interfere with his soccer.
Yeah.
Right. It's like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So like I loved baseball so much growing up. Never got to play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was into video games. I remember having my Game Boy and having Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah.
Right. I remember having my parents got us a Nintendo 64, and dude, my dad used to beat our ass at Mario Party and like Pokemon Stadium and all that shit. We didn't get to play video games like too much, but I remember I did that a lot. I played with Legos a fuck ton because that's just something you can do by yourself, right? Because like even at a young age, if me and my brother were together, like we're fist fighting, like that's all we're doing. So just mainly just being by myself. It definitely affected me like when I went to school and stuff like that because like I genuinely thought nobody cared about me. Mm-hmm. So it's like when people are trying to be friends with you, even at like a young age, I'm just like, man, you don't really care about me. You know what I mean? Or like as a young kid, I'd have like this one friend and I'm like, I'm ride or die for this person. Like this is my favorite person ever. Mm-hmm. And then like they'd go off and like start like as kids get like a little bit older, like, oh, I don't want to hang out with you. I want to go do this or go play with other people. And so that would like affect me heavily, be like, oh, he fucking hates me.
Yeah.
Right. So like a lot of my childhood was just like to myself. I did learn how to play guitar for a bit. Cool. That was cool. I sucked with the eye-hand coordination of it. Oh. But I did try. Art was a big thing that I tried as a kid, but I just get like those books and I would just like trace things that I thought were cool, like animals and stuff. Sure. But no, dude, a lot of my childhood was just like fucking by myself. Like we had some family friends we'd hang out with a lot that had kids, which was nice. But dude, this sounds so stupid, but I learned how to ride a bike out of spite.
Okay.
So like my dad,
how's that?
My dad particularly didn't like really teach me how to ride a bike without like training wheels and stuff like that. And so we're at a family friend's house and they got a bunch of, I call these people like grandma and grandpa because we were very close. And, they were all like out front riding bikes and stuff. And I was like, I want to ride a bike. And my dad's like, you don't know how to ride a bike. Like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, okay. So I was like, fuck you. And I went into their backyard because they're on like an acre plot of land. Yeah. And it was literally a horse stable that they used to keep like all the bikes and toys in. And I literally just grabbed a bike and just started fucking riding. Nice. And then I literally like, once I got the balance of it, I just rode in the front yard and I just like glared at my dad.
Nice.
He's like, what the fuck?
Nice.
Yeah.
Spite works in great ways to get things done.
And this sounds like super negative about my parents. I don't blame my dad for anything. So he was ex-Navy. He was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm.
Ooh, cool.
And he was in the shit. He wasn't supposed to be in the shit. Mm-hmm. He was in the shit. And he's broken down a couple of times, and I've gotten little things here and there, little nuggets, and it's fucked. It's fucked the things he had to do as like an electronics guy, like kicking indoors and shit during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Wasn't super great. And then he got out right as I was born, mainly because I was born. Okay. And so he coped with a lot of his PTSD that he got diagnosed with later with drinking. This dude used to drink 2 40s of Mickey's a night while I was awake. I don't know how much he drank after I went to bed, but like just in a couple hours, it was like 2 Mickeys. And I didn't realize how much that was until I was older. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. 2 40s?
2 40s.
Ooh.
And so like, again, this is going to sound fucked. Love my dad. Great guy.
Mickey's was my malt liquor of choice.
It was the first, one of the first beers we had together.
Had many a depressed shower beers with a good old 40 of Mickey's, dude.
But for me, Me and my older brother used to fight over who would get my dad the beer next because it's like the most attention I would get from him.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fucked. Life slowly got better. I mean, good. I used to play fucking like we got an Xbox eventually, so dude, I was fucking killing it on Halo 2. Nice. But like my parents wouldn't pay for Xbox Live, so it's like me versus my brother, or just me on the campaign,
like LAN
just
parties
fucking
and shit.
Tearing it up.
Split screen,
tearing it up.
Split screen. What they call it? Screen peeking.
Screen peeking. Stop fucking looking at my screen, dude.
Fucking screen peeking.
How do you know where I'm at?
Stop fucking screen peeking at my screen.
Yeah, dude.
So, I remember those days, dude. It's like sleepovers at your boy's house or something. Yeah. It's just like, fuck you. So like, but Halo 3 had all those cool games and shit that came out with it.
So like middle school was dope. I was hanging out with a lot of friends. I hung out with a lot of the skaters and stuff. I couldn't fucking skate to save my life. I longboarded a bit. You know, like my mom had like her old, like, it wasn't even a longboard. It was a skateboard that kind of looked like a surfboard. Yeah. Where it's like flat on one end and pointed at the other.
That's kind of cool.
And the axles were just fucking shot on it.
Yeah.
Is it axles? Am I wrong there?
The trucks.
The trucks. Yep. Trucks were fucking shot to where like you lean a little bit, dude, and you're just fucking coasting.
Super loose.
Yeah, dude, they were fucking broken, dude. But I would just like go down the street just fucking coasting it.
Yeah.
But I made a lot of good friends, a lot of sleepovers, a lot of hanging out, chilling. Still hard for me to like think anybody cared about me. So like my friends would be like, oh, you want to like hang out sometimes? And like I didn't know about it back then, but I was like in a depressed phase, like, nah, dude, I'm just gonna stay here. Right?
Like imposter syndrome.
Kind of that. And like I just didn't want to bug my parents. You know what I mean? It would be like, hey, can I go hang out with so and so? And then they get pissed about it, like, oh, I have to take you out again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I was pretty good at school. I mean I was definitely the class clown. Like I'm introverted, like I don't really like talking to people. Mm-hmm. But I was definitely the class clown, like acting up for attention, obviously based on my childhood.
I get that.
Yeah, and I was fucking great at it. I was such a good class clown. But like, oh, dude, 4th grade, we had to switch schools because my brother got kicked out of our school for getting a teacher fired.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we switched schools. So we were going to this charter school, and like this is like the best of my life went. Like coming in, being like a new kid, stuff like that. Like kind of like what we talked about with you. It's like, dude, people instantly like clicking with me. I'm having a great time. I'm making great friends, and then it all came crashing down because like towards the end of the year, my brother got expelled because he was cheating on a test.
Oh.
And it was like a charter school, which is like kind of like a private school, but it's a public private.
He got the teacher fired?
That was at the previous school. He got the teacher fired at our elementary school. So we went to a charter school where he got caught cheating on a test. It was like a pretty big test for like, I don't know how he cheated on it, but it was like a state test. Mm-hmm. So then he got expelled, and my parents were like, well, we're going to move you schools again. Is that cool? And I was like, dude, it's fucking whatever at this point. Like,
yeah.
Whatever. It sucked. And then we went back to the original school where he got the teacher fired.
Yeah.
I had her as a sub at one point, and she's like, I fucking know your brother. I'm like, that sucks, dude. Like, yeah, he's the worst. Went back to that school. I made like junior high, 7th, 8th grade was great years for me. Made a lot of friends, hanging out. All future stoners. Yeah. All of them. All future stoners. Got in a lot of fights in middle school. And then we moved on to high school. High school was great. If you looked at me back in the day, dude, I looked like I just got out of the Holocaust. Like I was super skinny, like fucking kind of like almost like malnourished, but I wasn't.
In the striped pajamas.
Yeah, dude, just fucking, dude. I didn't hit like 60 pounds. I was like in like 5th or 6th grade, dude. It was bad. But everyone and I had like big old glasses and stuff. And everyone was like, "Were you bullied?" And I was like, "I actually really was in like high school. Like I was pretty chill with everybody. And if I wasn't and they mouthed off, I would just fucking throw hands. Like I didn't care if I lost.
I got bullied a lot too. I wore big glasses, the big thick Coke bottle thick glasses.
Oh,
damn. I was blind as a bat.
But the thing is, somehow I'd always end up making friends with the biggest motherfucker. Yeah. So like I'm, dude, like 5'3". I didn't hit my growth spurt till like maybe sophomore year. Yeah. Dude, fucking skinny as shit. And like one of my best friends, he's like your height, but like as a freshman year, he's a big old Mexican kid.
All right. We'll do a story time for both of us.
Okay.
But what was the best fight you were ever in?
The best fight? Ooh, the only one that comes to mind for like best fight is one I didn't get in trouble for. Mm-hmm. We were playing football in the morning. This one kid that just annoyed the shit out of me, and I just did not like him.
How old were you during this?
7th or 8th grade.
Okay.
I think 8th grade.
Okay.
And we were playing football in the morning before school even started, dude. And he grabbed the football and ran off. So I literally caught up to him, and I grabbed him, and I threw him up against like a fucking chain link fence and just started wailing on his ass.
Damn.
Like, don't you ever fucking touch our stuff.
Damn.
Just going in on him. And at like the very last second, he grabbed my glasses and he threw them over the fence that went into a wash.
Yeah.
And like, I needed my fucking glasses. And like, I had to like hop the fence and get my glasses and stuff like that. And I was like, whatever, dude. I just went into school like nothing fucking happened. Yeah. And all my boys like, dude, he's going to get you after school. He's going to beat your fucking ass for that. Like, we want you to know that he's going to beat your ass and we're going to be there to watch. And I didn't say anything to him the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But he was fucking, like, I guess, terrified or some shit. So he told a bunch of people and shit like that. Dude, so I get called into the fucking principal's office.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's the assistant principal, older guy. I had a couple interactions with him. Nothing, like, bad. But he also wore glasses. And he's like, hey, dude, did you beat him up this morning? I'm like, here's the story. And I didn't lie. I was like, he took our football away from us. He wouldn't give it back. So yeah, I threw him up against the fence and I punched him a couple times, but he took my glasses and threw them over the fence. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, dude, it took me like 10 minutes to find him in that wash. And this guy, his face just changed. He's like, you can go.
Yep.
And I was like, what? And like, dude, he calls that kid in, gives him an in-school suspension. And I was like, not even a phone call home.
There is something about, I don't know what it is. But, okay, so my story is also kind of similar in terms of glasses and such. So, like, I don't know what it is, but it seems like the recurring pattern, especially why he gave you a pass, and I'm going to talk about it right now, is because it's growing up with glasses.
Yeah.
Glasses are expensive.
Yeah.
And if you don't really come from, like, a place of money, and your glasses fucking break.
Oh, dude, my parents would be pissed.
You're either wearing those broken glasses for a long time, or you're getting your ass beat.
Sometimes both.
Because they have to go buy you a new pair of glasses.
Wait, real quick. You know what my parents bought me glasses-wise? You ever seen those glasses that can flex?
Yeah.
My parents bought me those because mine kept breaking.
I wanted those, but like I don't know why I never got them. I kept asking
they
for
looked
them,
completely terrible.
they
wouldn't
awful. They looked awful. They were like the metal ones.
They were great. They were great for fights.
Yeah.
Tell you that right now. The amount of times I got in a fight and I lost my glasses, but they didn't break because they're like the flexi metal.
You just get punched in the face and they flex form around the curvature and form of your face. and then they flex back. Just snap back. But no, there seems to be something where like we're super protective about the glasses.
Yeah.
Because like to us, it's one of our senses and like it's so easily taken away, at least for me, because my vision was so bad. It's just so easily taken away by just taking the glasses away or breaking the glasses or the glasses flying off. Because then you're like, fuck, I'm blind. I'm totally useless. I can't see shit.
Yeah.
And like that, but like that's the thing. It's like it's a protective thing over the glasses. I don't really know it because I was the same way. Like,
dude, so lucky.
Like, okay, so my story, right? We were riding our bike. I was probably 7th or 8th grade around middle school. And we're riding our bikes up this hill, and this is in West Virginia. And this gold minivan comes hauling ass up behind us. It was me, my friend Christian, and my friend Isaac. I think I talked about him in the previous episode. And we were all riding BMX at the time. We were super into it and kind of got out of skateboarding for a little bit. But we were riding, and this minivan comes hauling ass up behind us. And we're like, what the fuck? Is he going to slow down? Because we were riding in the street and there wasn't sidewalks where we were at.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, he's not slowing down. He's speeding up. And
Jesus.
I was like, okay. And then we ditched off to the sides of the road, ditched our bikes because he didn't slow down. He just fucking he was probably doing like 50, 60 up the road.
Jesus.
On like a residential street. And so we get back on our bikes and my buddy Christian's like, fuck that. We're going to go follow this guy. And we get back on our bikes and we ride up the hill and we see where he pulls into his driveway for his house. Idiot. Way to do something so stupid to somebody like right where you live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a little pro tip. If you're going to fucking road rage on somebody, make sure it's not on the way to your house.
Oh, I got a road rage story for you afterwards. Go on.
But so we follow this. We go up to the road and we stand out. We're standing in the middle of the street. And Christian's standing, and we're standing on our bikes or whatever, and he's sitting there and he's flipping the guy off, and it's this guy wearing like high school soccer shit, for our local high school.
Yeah.
And his mom was in the passenger seat. So he had his driver's permit and his mom was helping him with the hours. He was still driving like this, dude. It was crazy. But
his mom's like, hit those kids.
Yeah, his mom's like, fuck them kids, run them over. Run them kids over.
That's 10 points right there, son.
Yeah. And so we're standing there and Christian's flipping him off. The kid gets out of the car. He's in high school and we're in probably 7th or 8th grade. This guy's probably in 10th, 11th grade. Mm-hmm. And he gets out of the car. He just starts booking it towards us, dude. Booking it towards us. And Christian and Isaac they get on their fucking bikes and they start hauling ass down the street. It's kind of on a hill. And I'm standing across the street in the parking lot of an apartment complex laughing my ass off because it's hilarious. Because Christian was talking all this shit and he was standing outside. He's like, yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. And then this guy gets out. He's like, oh, yeah. And he starts chasing him and he fucking ran off. And I'm sitting across the street laughing. He comes over to me and he goes, get the fuck out of here. And by the way, that's a nice bike. So for those that are into BMX and stuff, it was a Red Line Recon. It was like a Red Line BMX bike. So he comes over and he shoves me clean off of this fucking bike. Like legs went up, fucking shoes practically could have flown off how hard he fucking pushed me off this bike. And my glasses went flying off. Oh, and I went into fucking just straight fight or flight mode, dude. I got up and he was walking away with my bike. I get up, I grab him from behind, right near the hips, and just stand up and just suplex that motherfucker from the street, over the grass, over the sidewalk, and into the parking lot of the apartment complex. And as soon as we landed, the last thing I remember, because I blacked out, I don't remember half the fight. Last thing I remember, as soon as we landed, I was looking at him face to face like this. And I saw him gripping his stomach and his mouth was open because he couldn't breathe because I knocked the wind out of him.
Hell yeah.
And so the first thought that came into my head before I went full gorilla mode was get on top of him and start beating him.
Hell yeah, brother.
And so I got on top of him, put my knees over his fucking arms, and just started fucking gorilla smashing this fucking fool.
In front of his mother.
In front of his mother. And his mother went over to the flower bed because their flower bed was lined with these red bricks that were, if you sat them upright on a rectangle and tilted them over at an angle, they were like that, but stacked on each other. Yeah. So it looked like little pyramids or triangles lining it. She grabs one, puts it in her purse, comes over to me, and fucking beats me in the head 3 times with this thing before I finally get off. She hit me in the head twice, and the third time I fell off, and I looked around, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Because there were people from the apartment complex standing around us, like yelling and ranting because it was a fight going on.
Yeah.
And then his mom's standing there, and she's like, you need to get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, okay. Like, yeah, absolutely. There's too much shit going on around here right now. Never mind. I don't remember the last 30 seconds of beating the fuck out of this kid.
Yeah.
And I get on my bike, and I start running away. And that's when the adrenaline starts wearing off. And I start realizing my hands are fucking broken, gripping the handlebar.
Your head's hurting.
And yeah, dude, that was bad. The cop, I had to go to church the next day, shake everybody's hand first thing in the morning, and then the cops showed up.
Fuck.
Cops showed up to the house, and they were like, "Hey, do you know so and so?" I was like, "No," and they were like, "Well, were you in an altercation with somebody?" I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, well, what was it about? And I'm like, well, here's the story. And I told him the whole story. And they were like, so he came over and pushed you off your bike.
And tried to steal it.
And tried to take it from you. But before that, he tried to run you and your friends off the road with his mom in the car. I said, yes, sir. And he goes, okay, you have a great day.
Yeah.
And the 2 police officers went on.
As they should. You got hit with a brick.
Yeah, they were like, bro, you just tried to run this kid off the road, then steal his bike, and he beats the fuck out of you, and you want us to do what to this kid? He was just sticking up for his own.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Fuck that. But yeah, tell me your shit. What
road rage.
Road rage, yeah.
So I just got my license, and we're driving home. It's my birthday. Mm-hmm. And my dad's like, I'm driving home. I was like, all right, I don't give a shit. That's fine. It was pretty far from the DMV. Dude, and this Mustang comes up and it's like riding my dad's ass. So my dad like brake checks him, and the dude fucking like pulls up next to us and tries to fucking ram us off the road, basically.
Oh,
yeah. And so my dad, they went back and forth. They were like maybe not even like 2 minutes away from my house.
Yeah.
And my dad fucking reaches for the glove box, and I was just sitting there like, "Hey, Dad, it's my birthday. Let's not go to jail. And he looked at me and he's like, all right, good call.
Fair enough.
My
Fair
dad,
enough.
even to this day, my dad's like, the only reason why I didn't is because you said it's my birthday. Don't
Yeah.
go to jail. And he's like, that was enough. But he remembered the dude's license plate number.
Oh, shit.
And then he woke up the next morning early for work and drove around to find the dude's car and found it.
Oh.
And then he popped 3 of the 4 tires because insurance won't cover that. Damn. Yeah.
Did they only cover like 4?
Yeah, if it's all 4.
Oh, shit.
So my dad fucking popped 3 of them.
That's fucking
I literally got home.
diabolical,
I got home from like school that night, and he's like, hey, "Guess what I did this morning?"
That's diabolical.
Yeah, he's smart when it comes to that type of shit.
That's fucking awesome.
All right, hey, you're gonna hate me, but we'll be right back after word from our sponsors.
Okay, here comes the sponsors.
All right, and we're back.
Here we are.
All right, so we're talking about fights. I want to say one more thing. So that kid I fought, I actually made one of my best friends for middle school and high school. Because of that kid, because like the following week, nobody really liked this kid. He's like one of those kids in school, which like in hindsight, I feel bad for beating the shit out of him. But we're coming in from like recess, dude. It's like a week later, and this one kid, these 2 kids just start beating the fuck out of him. He like mouthed off to him and something like that, and they're boys, and they just start beating the fuck out of him. And I was the only witness, and I just kept fucking walking. I was like, yeah, fuck that guy. Because I'm a piece of shit kid. Dude, I made this kid was one of my best friends, and we became urinal friends.
Oh.
Because they came out, they're like, did you see what happened? I was like, I have no idea what happened. Like when I walked past him, everyone was just still walking.
Oh.
And so like later at the day in the school, and this kid was in a different class, I didn't really know him. He's at the urinal, and I walk up, I'm at another urinal, and he's like, oh, hey, yo, thanks for not snitching. I was like, I got you, man. And ever since that, we were like lifelong friends from there.
Cool.
And I was like, hell yeah.
That works out.
But yeah, fast forward into high school, it's pretty chill. There's nothing crazy about it. Freshman, sophomore year, talking to girls, fucking doing my classes. I started sports.
Okay.
I wrestled my freshman year. My buddy convinced me to go to an open mat, which is like, just feel it out, see how it is. And so I did that, and I fell in love with it. Super great. I did that freshman and most of sophomore year. And I was pretty good at it. Like I got 3rd in state my first year.
Oh,
which was sick. And then in the springtime, I played tennis because it's something that me and my dad bonded with back when I was like 12 years old. Because I didn't know this, but I walked downstairs and he's watching like the U.S. Open or something. And I was like, what is this? He's like, tennis. And I was like, it's kind of sick. He's like, do you want to play? And I was like, sure. He had rackets, he had balls and everything. My dad, back when he was in high school, almost went pro.
Oh, nice.
Like my grandfather taught me how to play tennis. My dad loved tennis. So that day we went out and we played tennis, and my dad's like, you're actually pretty fucking good. I was like, seriously? He's like, yeah. And so me and him, that was like our thing, dude. We started playing tennis, every week, couple times a week. And then I played in high school, which is really great because like my grandfather, he wasn't like in super good health when I was in high school. Like he wasn't moving around the best. But I had a home game, dude, and he came up, and I just see his fucking Buick roll up, and he got out a fucking folding lawn chair, and he like no parents showed up to tennis games, right? It's not like a sport that everyone's gonna come out to cheer.
Yeah.
Dude, and he set that lawn chair, and he sat there the whole time and fucking cheered me on. I was like, I'm like, I can't fucking lose.
That's badass.
I beat that kid's ass.
That's badass.
But yeah, I played weird sports like tennis and wrestling. And then going into junior year, we lost our house. My parents bought a house they couldn't afford. 2008 happened. We were still surviving, but my dad lost his job and things were going downhill. And so then eventually we had to declare bankruptcy. And so we had to move. And we moved only like maybe 2 or 3 miles up the road. But there's a different high school that's 2 or 3 miles up the road because the area was booming so much. It was fairly new. My parents like, do you want to switch schools? And I was like, I had a bunch of homies that I recently met that were going there. And they had a culinary program, which from a young age, I wanted to be a chef because one thing that me and my grandma used to do was like, she'd let me cook with her in the kitchen. And it was something super dope. And so since I was like, dude, in first grade, I wanted to be a chef.
Yeah.
And it's all I ever dreamed of. I worked my ass off in like at home, like learning recipes and cooking and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, I'd love to do a culinary program. And then right before that too, I got my first job. I think I was like I was 14, almost 15. I got my first job as a prep cook in an actual restaurant. And so I was like, sick. This is what I want to do with my life. I want to be a chef. So I started working in restaurants. Eventually that restaurant went under within like a year and a half, because as restaurants do. And so then I got a job at a dive bar where I closed by myself 3 nights a week when I was like 15, 16.
Damn.
Which it's crazy to think about now. I completely got paid under the table. Dude, I remember the day I quit that job because the day before I fucking sliced my thumb open, basically in half. There was no first aid kit, nothing like that, dude. Paper towels and electrical tape. And I still had 2 hours left to my shift. And we had our dishwasher who only worked weekends normally. But he always told me, he's like, hey, if you ever need help, let me know. And I was like, hey, man, can I get your help? Like, I can't get this wet.
Yeah.
And the owner comes back. He's like, he's not fucking helping you.
Oh.
And I was like, seriously? I'm like, dude, my finger's in half right now. And he's like, fucking tough it up. I quit the next day. He had no idea why.
Damn.
Then I got a job at a third restaurant that one of my homies worked at. And I worked there for the rest of high school, but it was great. But I slowly fell out of love with cooking. But I took my culinary classes. I made a bunch of friends there. Laid pretty low. Like most people knew me. But I lost my love for cooking just based on like egos in the kitchen and the drug use. Like I walked out back one time and a dude was shooting up meth.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you need to go home. And he's like, I always work like this. I'm like, not fucking tonight, you don't.
Yeah.
I had to give dudes home, drive them home, because otherwise they either had too many DUIs or they were intoxicated enough to get another DUI.
Yeah.
So put your bike in the back of my car. Let's fucking go.
Yep.
And then I had dude, I was fucking good. I got good time management, stuff like that, to where at 17, 18, I was basically the assistant manager for the kitchen and stuff like that. Which I get now, looking back. I also wouldn't want an 18-year-old telling me how to do my job.
Fair enough.
But I'd have 30, 40-year-old dudes threatening to beat my ass or fight in the back, and I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
They're like, what? Let's fucking go. I will break your fucking hip.
Yeah.
Shit like that. And they'd be like, all right. And then they met my dad, and my dad's, he's kind of the opposite of me. Dude, he's maybe my height, but he's fucking stacked, dude. This dude was doing steroids in the Navy. He used to bet people on the ship that he'd bet him $1,000. I bet you I can fucking bench 415. And they'd be like, no fucking way. But my dad was smart because technically he couldn't bench 415, but he'd wait for the boat to fucking hit a downturn. And then you just use the force of the gravity to fucking bench it once.
What?
It's fucking crazy shit.
That's
But my dad's huge, really nice guy. But most people see him, he looks like a biker. You know what I mean? So they're like, that's your dad? I'm like, yeah. They're like, all right, well, I'm sorry. It's shit like that. But then at that point, I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do at this point. And then I'm in high school and I get tricked into building sets for plays. This became my life, dude. I was working 40 hours a week in the kitchen and I was building sets for plays. Because a guy I worked with at one of the restaurants, we went to the same high school, and he's like, hey, do you want to use power tools unsupervised? And I was like, oh.
Sounds like a blast to me.
More than anything, that's all I've ever fucking wanted.
Yeah.
You have any experience? It's absolutely not. So that's what I did. They're like, hey, one thing I distinctly remember building was hey, we need a giant couch for a Charlie Brown play. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what do we consider giant? They're like, whatever the fuck you want, dude. So I built a fully upholstered couch that from standing up, it was from the ground to the cushion was about 4.5 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, I went fucking buck wild with this. It's actually too big. It was too big.
Sounds pretty big.
Yeah, I had it was 8 feet wide.
Wow.
It was a big couch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge couch.
Dude, but yeah, they just and then I took production design classes, which the teacher was yeah, just go fuck around and build shit for the play that we have coming up. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
We'd be in there, we found out how to bypass the safety on nail guns. We were making targets and fucking shooting shit with the nail guns and shit. I'm like, this is fucking great. I love my life.
Yes.
That's ended up how I met my now wife. She was a part of the theater program as the stage manager and shit. I thought she was super cute. She wanted absolutely nothing to do with me. Fair. I was butt ass ugly back then. Yes. My personality is still pretty shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for agreeing.
Absolutely.
But
I kid.
Yeah. She eventually gave me a shot, and I liked her a lot. And it's the first girl that I dated where I didn't hate her guts after a week or two.
That's good.
And I was
that's always a good start.
That's great. Yeah. That's ideally what you want in the person you marry.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So we started dating. I'm working 40 hours a week. I'm not doing sports anymore because I was sports or money. And I chose money because
love it.
We were definitely middle class. My parents made sure there's food on the table and stuff like that. But my parents weren't paying for college. My parents weren't really paying anything on my first car, right? Nothing like that. I had a flip phone. I couldn't text or anything like that until like basically the military.
Yeah.
And I always had the dream of being a chef. So I was like, college isn't for me. I'm going to go just fucking cook it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, I fell out of love with it. It was just, it's a toxic industry. I remember like my interview job for the prep cook at my very first restaurant. The chef's like, oh, it's not like Hell's Kitchen at all. Like, I'm not going to yell at you, shit like that. First dinner service, dude's throwing plates and tongs across the fucking kitchen. Our sous chef went into rehab for alcoholism. All this, and I'm seeing all this at like 14, 15. I'm like, I don't want to work in this. Like, the cooking aspect is great, but
for sure,
fuck that. So then I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. And my dad's like, well, military.
Yep.
And I was like, well, what if I don't want to join the military? He's like, well, it's military or you're going to start paying rent.
Stop touching the mic so much.
I'm trying not to, dude, but I'm trying to get to where
you're making
not, but it's coasting into my face.
You're making so much noise.
What do you want me to do when it's coasting into my face?
Why don't you just figure it out?
I'm trying to.
Take a little figuring out. Why don't you pull it out? Yeah.
Back to where it was. Oh, not moving?
That looks pretty good to me.
Cool,
dude.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Sorry. It kept moving on me,
good,
so I was holding it. Fucking making me lose my train of thought. My dad, he was like pushing military pretty hard. Mm-hmm. And at some point I was like, I ain't got fucking shit all else going on, so let's talk to a recruiter.
Yeah.
My dad always told me, hey, you're going like Navy or Air Force. My older brother, he went Marines. He's a piece of shit. Really didn't want to go Marines. No offense.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah.
Fair enough.
And he got stationed at like 29 Palms and shit. I'm like, that looks like fucking ass.
Yeah, it's literally the worst place to go.
Army recruiter called me once and I fucking laughed. Never called me back. So if you keep getting hit by Army recruiters, just laugh at them on the phone and they'll never call you back. Air Force recruiter was hard to fucking get a hold of, dude. Yeah. So fucking difficult. They changed my recruiter like 3 times. I went and talked to the Navy guy like once because this is post like taking my ASVAB at my school.
Mm-hmm. What'd you get on your ASVAB?
I think I said like last episode was like a 77 or 78.
Oh, okay.
So I did pretty decent, and like the Navy recruiter wanted me bad. He's like, dude, I can have you out to basic next fucking week. You want to go around the world and party? And honestly, I didn't do drugs or anything. I didn't really drink. Like, yeah, like my buddy bring over a bottle of fucking Southern Comfort, and we go to Circle K and get like the big old fucking styrofoam cups and fill that shit up and get shitty.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like doing drugs. Like, dude, not really. I kind of want skills that I can use on the outside of the military because I don't know how long I want to do this shit for.
Yeah.
And the idea of staying on a boat didn't sound great. My dad was shitting on me because I wanted to be a gunner's mate.
What's that?
A gunner's mate. You're just a gunsmith. You just fucking clean weapons all day.
That's
if you're on like a battleship, dude, you're maintaining the cannons. I thought that shit was dope. He's like, that's the lowest of the low. And I was like, fucking honestly, dude, same. Me. That's me. I should say me and my dad's relationship is great at this point. Like once I was 12, really turned around my self-confidence in myself and realizing, hey, people can actually like you and enjoy your company started to shift. And I was like the happiest I've ever been. Like I can honestly say I don't remember really being happy up until that point, which is like a depressing thing to think about. Like hindsight, it's like, oh, dude, imagine meeting like a depressed 8-year-old. Like that shit, it's kind of wild.
It's pretty depressing.
Yeah. But I'm doing great now. I have a great girlfriend. Me and my dad are getting along great. Mom's still kind of a bitch. Older brother's out of the picture. I got younger siblings that I'm helped taking care of because there's a pretty decent age gap there. And I'm looking into the Air Force and I talk to them and they're like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't fucking know. And so my original thought was like MP, like military police, which I'm glad I didn't, but that's
Blue
what
Falcon.
Yeah. Blue Falcon. But that's what they were sending everyone out as, right? If you wanted to go to basic quick back then, because there's such a surge of like people enlisting, you had to be security forces. And so that was my number 1 job. My number 2 job was construction, which was structures, which is actually what I ended up doing. Dude, went through the whole oath and shit like that. Finally got a contract, and then I had to wait like another 6 months. So I didn't go to basic till I was 19 because I was waiting for a spot to open.
Yeah.
So I think we talked about it last episode, but I went as an open mechanical slot because my high scores on the ASVAB were electrical, which surprised me, but not really because my dad kind of coached me on it because that's what he does. Electrical, mechanical, and then I think math because I used to really be decent at math. Not anymore. Not a big numbers guy.
Yeah. Me neither.
Yeah. So then I got shipped off to basic on an open contract. It was the first time I ever went on a plane, was going to basic training. Wow. Never flown before, and I was flying by myself.
Nice.
It was definitely a weird experience.
Yeah.
But that's a lot. I guess I talked a lot there, but that's a lot about my kind of like childhood and like teenage years. I guess in depth enough, maybe. There's really not much to talk about. I was a fucking little sad kid, little fucking depressed bitch. For most of it, and there's reasons why. We'll get into it on later podcasts.
Well, how long have you been in the Air Force?
I just hit 11 years in December.
Nice. And you said you're reserves, right?
So yeah, I wasn't initially reserved. So when I first enlisted, I was active. I did a 4-year contract because I was like, I don't want to do this shit for 6, even with the extra money. So I did 4 years. I join, I go through basic, I go to Gulfport, Mississippi for my training, which because I got construction. Yeah. Fucking love Gulfport, Mississippi.
Gulfport's it's a cool little town.
It's a cool little place.
It's a cool little town. Some good Southern country food around there too.
Good food, dude.
Yeah.
So went to Gulfport, Mississippi, which was a little bit of a culture shock because I've never been like in the deep south. Like I've never been outside of Arizona and California at this point. I went to Texas and I went to Gulfport. And I was like, what the fuck?
I was down there for a Raven exercise as part of a workup for deployment.
Nice.
I think it was Bravo Company at the time over at MARSOC. So
yeah, so I'm in Gulfport. It's a naval base, and so we kind of thought we were shit, like the shit, because the rest of the Air Force goes to Keesler, and it's like super bougie, super nice. And they're like, we're in Gulfport because we're fucking blue collar, hard working man. And so sometimes we'd have to go to Keesler for like sexual assault and bullying training. Yeah. And like everyone else is in blues, and we're in our fucking regular ABUs because we're fucking construction workers. I'm not going to put on my fucking blues.
Yeah.
In Gulfport, it like the base, it's ass. It's good. I loved it, but like the DFAC. Do you ever have to eat at the DFAC?
I never went to
Colmer's.
No, so when I was there, we were over by the flight line. A lot in those buildings over there because that's where we were.
Gotcha.
Hooching up at, but I went to the gym.
Gym was nice.
I went to the E Club.
E Club was nice too there.
The E Club was pretty cool. Lots of pool tables, all those little
games and
lights and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I was at Gulfport, and while I was there, I got orders for my first base, dude, and I wanted overseas. The whole class above me got overseas. The whole class after me got overseas. My class got all stateside, and it was like fucking New Mexico or South Dakota, right? And so my fucking dumbass saw my orders, dude, and it said SD, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to San Diego, boys. And my instructor looks at me, he's like, hey, you piece of shit. You dumb fuck. That's South Dakota. And I was like, hey, Sergeant, first of all, there's more than one Dakota. I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, trust me, it's a great base, shit like that. Hindsight, he wasn't wrong. But I finished up in Gulfport, went on my leave. While I was in Gulfport, I proposed to my now wife. I didn't propose before basic or anything because I was like, in the words of Chris Brown, these hoes ain't loyal.
Oh my goodness.
Right? The amount of guys that got sent like their wedding rings and engagement rings back while they're in basic, it's 8 fucking weeks. And it's like week 2.
Dear John letters.
Yeah, they're getting fucking Dear John letters week 2. Like we finally get our fucking first mail call and dudes are like, I want a divorce. It's like, what the fuck? It was crazy. So we got engaged, came back on leave. She drove me to South Dakota. I got all set up. And then I spent the rest of my career there besides like trainings and deployments and stuff like that because that base is a black hole. But I love it because I learned so much about my job because like I could be wrong here, but for the most part, normally like bases have to contract certain amount of jobs out to the civilian population to stimulate the economy and stuff. And the easiest thing to contract out is construction.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so that's what they do. But in South Dakota, ain't too many construction companies.
Oh, really?
So we got to do pretty much everything that refers to our job, which my job is like drywall, like framing, finish work, so like all interior, like all carpentry, all interior work, like painting, baseboards, hanging doors, and then exterior doing like siding, masonry, roofs, concrete. We do HVAC ducts, right? So any fabrication work, that was us, right? So I learned so much while being there that like looking back, I'm like, man, I get why people like this base. Being there and it's snowing from fucking like October to May, you're like, fucking shoot me. You know what I mean? It's like I have to go, because being construction, I had to go shovel my driveway to go to work to shovel other people's driveways, basically.
Yeah. Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
That's not it. You don't have to shovel sunshine. That's why I love this state.
I used to shovel driveways growing up for a little bit of side change.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah. That's hard work.
Dude, it sucks. It sucks. It's like you're out there sweating and you're hot, and then you're like, well, if I fucking take off the layer, I'm going to get hypothermia.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yep.
We got to do what we got to do. All right, so Air Force.
Yep.
Was active for X amount of years.
Yeah, I guess that's where I was going with it. I was active for about 5 years, almost 6. But I had my first son, and I was deploying. Like, I deployed, and I got back, and my wife got pregnant. Imagine that. And then we went on vacation to, like, Germany and Austria and Switzerland. It's like my first time out of the country besides, like, deployment. And I was like, oh, this is fucking sick.
Yeah.
But I get back, and I get back into the swing of things. Like, hey, you need to go to these trainings. I'm like, these are deployment trainings. Like, yeah, you're deploying again. I'm like, you didn't fucking tell me. They're like, we told you 2 weeks ago. I was like, hey, guys, I was out of the fucking country 2 weeks ago. And they're like, oh, shit, our bad. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, you're bad. My wife's pregnant. And you're saying I'm leaving in 9 months. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Let me talk about my first deployment, because some people know this. You might know this. I had a week's notice for my first deployment. Ooh. I get pulled into an office like, hey, do you still want to deploy? And I was like, more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I joined. I've been here for 2 years. I haven't deployed. Send me. And I'm like, when would I leave? They're like, next week. And I was like, fuck. Hey, I got to call my wife and make sure that's cool with them. And my NCO was like, yeah, that's fine. Call your wife, whatever. My wife's at work and shit. And so I called her, and she couldn't answer because she's working. And like an hour goes by, and it's lunchtime. He's like, hey. Oh, I almost said my last name. I'm not going to say my last name. Like, hey, Vandal, get in this fucking office. And I was like, yes, sir. And I go in his office. He's like, did you talk to your wife yet? And I was like, no. He's like, well, go ahead, text her, tell her you're going. We're going to our head shed, which is like our headquarters building. He's like, you're going to go fill out all the paperwork. You're going. And I was like, all right, that makes things easy. Yeah. So I go there, and it's the week before Christmas, and like, you need to get all of these signatures, but half of these people are out on leave. I was like, damn. Yes, sir. And then I go talk to our unit deployment manager and stuff like that. He's like, oh, you need to be requalified on M4 before you go. And I was like, okay, when's the next class? And he's like, not till after you leave. And I'll never forget to do my sergeant's like, can you just take him to the woods? He's got some guns. And I was like, is that what we're doing? They're like, no, we'll get you in a class tomorrow. And I was like, sick. So I show up to this class. I'm the only CE guy, which we train a lot on weapon systems, because like, if we deploy and there's a FOB, like a forward operating base, like, we're setting it up, we're pulling our own security, we're running our own convoy. So we get like more combat training than anyone in the Air Force besides like special forces and our cops. Nice. Right. So we shoot all the time. Other people in the Air Force fucking don't. And so I'm there with a bunch of admin people who haven't touched a gun since basic training. Shocker, right? I will talk so much shit about the Air Force. They haven't shot since basic training, so these people aren't even like putting up their rear sight posts or shit like that, right? When it's time to shoot irons and everything. And so I literally had an instructor come up to me. He's like, hey, you're CE, right? And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, hey, just fucking don't listen to the other commands. I'm going to give you commands of when to shoot, what to shoot, everything like that, so I can get you the fuck out of here. And I was like, thank you so much, right? We get all taken care of, and so I'm good to shoot. I'm slowly getting signatures. A couple of days before I leave, I was like, all right, like, I called my in-laws, like, I'm leaving, like, please come get Kaylin. Like, we don't really have anybody up here. Can you bring her back home? And she was like, yeah, she was in college at the time. She's like, yeah, I'd like to go home too. So my in-laws were great. They came up, they took her back home. I'm sitting at home for like 3 days before I leave, doing nothing but drinking and playing Rainbow Six Siege.
Fun.
Dude.
That game's still popular.
It's still fucking no. This is when it first came out.
Oh, okay.
And dude, my boy I rented a beer one time, and I just turned 21. I rented a beer in like the middle of the day, dude. I'm like on a day drinking binge. I'm like, I've been drunk since 8 a.m. It's noon right now. I'm like, bro, I'm out of beer, and I'm trying to hit a record. And he's like, I got you. So he leaves work, goes to the fucking BX or the gas station, picks up a fucking 6-pack of Tall Boys Paps. He throws them at me. He's like, I'll be back later with Jack. And I was like, thank you.
Oh my God.
I was pretty buzzed from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. It was like the longest day drinking streak. Jesus. Yeah, it was like 2 days before I left. In the military, cut me orders. I was all packed. I went by myself, and they sent me to the wrong base.
Wow.
Yep. They cut me orders for one base in Kuwait, and they were tracking me to another base in Kuwait. So I fly in, and again, all by myself. Never flown internationally, anything like that. And they're like fucking
an intro to it.
Figure it out. Yeah. And so I figured it out, and I got to Kuwait, and that's where I ended up going. And I get on a bus because like, hey, this one's going to Jabber, right? And I was like, cool, that's where I'm going. And so I hop on this bus, and they're like, who the fuck are you? And I was like, hi, I'm Troy. They're like, get the fuck in the van. And I was like, all right. So we're driving to the base, and they get a hold of like my structure shop there, and it's like 2 a.m. And this guy like rolled out of bed to come pick me up, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And I was like, "I'm Trey." He's like, what? He's like, whatever. He's like, they got some like cereal and shit because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. He's like, grab some food. I'll get you to a tent. Pass out. We'll figure this out tomorrow. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I eat. I go into a tent that's dark. Lay down. I pass out, and it's like 8 a.m. dude, and like 2 dudes like rolling in my tent. They're like, "Hey, wake up, faggot!" I was like, "Fuck."
Oh my gosh.
Oh shit! Is this how it happens? So I was like, "What's up?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, you Trey?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And they're like, "Why the fuck are you here?" And I was like, "They told me I was supposed to be here." And so basically, what happened at the other base is like a medical emergency with a guy to where he had to get like evacuated out. So I was his replacement.
Yeah.
And so like I'm going through, and dude, maybe they're like, "Hey, we're gonna get you some chow. We're gonna introduce you to some people at the shop, and you can go back and go to sleep." And I was like, you know what? Like, no, I just want to work. And they're like, what? I'm like, I want to learn the base. I want to figure everything out. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm just like sit in a hot ass tent because this is, I mean, it's December, but there's still no AC in these fucking tents or anything that works worth a damn. And so I was like, I'll just chill with you guys if that's cool. And they're like, that works for us.
Yeah.
And so I went on some jobs with them. They gave me like the lowdown of the base, and then dude, probably 2 o'clock, and I get pulled into an office, and I just start getting fucking screamed at. I get called like how fucking retarded are you to go to the wrong goddamn base? Like, you're supposed to be at this other fucking base. You were there. You got on this fucking van and made it here. Like, how fucking stupid are you? And I was like, sir? He's like, what? I'm like, can I pull out my orders? What? Fine. I don't know what that's gonna prove. So I set my backpack down, and I pull out this folder, and I pull out my orders, and I hand it to him. And he's like, the orders say Jabber, and that's where I was at. And he's like, all right, fuck, we're going to figure this shit out. But this guy didn't fucking tell everybody else.
Yeah.
So throughout the rest of the day, I kept getting stopped and fucking berated, being like, you fucking idiot. And I could be like, sir, can I grab my orders? And like, all right. So they figured out, like, okay, so they cut your orders to the wrong base. They're tracking you here. They want you there tomorrow. And I was like, yes, sir. Like, do you want to go there? I'm like, I kind of really like it here. And they're like, good. We like you. You're staying here.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. So, like, my military career was kind of fucked, dude. I had some people gun in for my career in the very beginning, and I'm not sure why. I present myself as a very big shitbag, but I'm a workhorse. Like, I love working. I love my job. I can just have fun while I work. Yeah. And some people fucking hate that, dude.
Yeah.
And so they liked it. They liked the fact that, like, if you're deployed and you can have fun while you work and make like light of a shitty situation, they love that. And if you get results, even better. So I stayed with them, and like, my leadership's been shit up to this point, dude. I want to get out. It's been 2 years. I'm like, this shit's terrible. But the leadership I had on that first deployment, the NCOs I had that took me under their wing and showed me like properly how to like to do the job and looked out for me and actually like were leaders, right? They built me up, and like they made me want to work harder for them. It changed my military career completely and my mindset behind everything. It's like, I fucking love it here. Yeah. Like, I got coined by the AFCENT command chief, so the highest ranking enlisted in all of the Middle East. Nice. He came to our base, and they set it up to where like I briefed him on some stuff, and he fucking coined me. Nice. I should bring it in. I should bring my coins in. But dude, it's a fucking coaster. It's fucking huge. And he's ex-special forces and stuff like that. He mainly rolled with SEALs. Chief Colon Perez. I could be getting that wrong, but I know it's Colon. So in the Air Force, when we test for rank, you have like your Air Force history side of test, right? And it's like AFI and your history and stuff like that. He was the only person still actively enlisted in that test. No. That's how big of a deal he was. And so like these people like padded me up with like good jobs. I was leading jobs as like an A1C, so like an E3. I was leading shit over like staffs, which is an E5. Yeah, shit like that. Because we want to see you succeed. Like, we see a drive in you. And so in the Air Force, you have something called below the zone, right? And so it's like basically you make E4 early. Okay. It's an E4 below the zone. And so I was supposed to be up for it. And I was talking to my leadership back home. I was like, hey, like these people wrote me a full on package for this. Like, they want me to get it. This shit's fucking like, it's hot. And I'm deployed, which already looks good for the board and stuff. Because I don't actually physically have to go to the board. They just look at my package like, oh, shit. Yeah. Right? And so I send it all in and stuff like that, and I don't hear anything, And so I called my supervisor, and I love him to death. And I was like, yo, what's going on with below the zone? I should be up for it. And he's like, oh, no, I don't think you're up for it yet. But, hey, your buddy Vaughn just made it. And I was like, hey, motherfucker. Me and him joined the Air Force on the same exact day. We were supposed to be going up together. And they're like, oh, fuck, our bad.
Damn.
And I was like, dude, are you serious? I was fucking, I called my NCOIC and I was very unprofessional.
Damn.
And I was like, dude, you fucked me.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're right. That's our bad. We forgot about you because you're deployed. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Damn.
And so that put a sour taste in my mouth. But like the leadership I had there was fucking great. My nickname the whole time was Fish because it was like fresh meat. It got to the point where the base commander thought my name was Fish. They made me a name tag that said Fish.
That's cool.
So for 6 months I was Fish, and I got back and I was on a high, dude. I was like loving the Air Force. I was loving life. I was like, I'm great at my fucking job. I had so much confidence. And like I said, my wife got pregnant and I was getting deployed again. And then I was on my second deployment. I was with my kid for 5 days after he was born. 5 days, and then she had to leave because I finally convinced her to go back home to be with family. Because I'm like, you have a kid. You're still in college. Like, she had 1 degree. She was working on a second.
Yeah.
Because she's badass. And I was like, you need to go back home. And we finally convinced her, and she went. But I was with my kid for 5 days, and I fucking left. And right before this happened, because she was getting her second degree and starting to work on a third, basically. My wife has a bachelor's and 2 masters.
Mrs. Vandal just sounds like a badass.
She's a fucking killer, dude. Yeah. As soon as I met her, like, this is my wife. Yeah. Like, she's going places. She's gonna be the sugar mama I need in my life because I'm not amounting to shit. So I was like, you need to go home. I'm like, we need to figure something out. Like, there's no career opportunities for you in South Dakota. Mm-hmm. I get this, and the only way for me to get out of here is to go to fucking Korea. Yeah. I'm like, and you don't want that shit. We just had a kid. So I'm like, I'm gonna try to palace chase. Which, if people don't know, there's palace fronting and palace chasing, and it's like when you go from active to reserve. So palace chasing is when you still have active time left. So like, say I had a year left, I'd go into the reserve and I owe the Air Force 2 years. Mm-hmm. Or if I palace front, I finish out my active time and then I start a new reserve contract. And I was like, I'm going to palace chase. So I was talking to a reserve recruiter and I was like, look, I'm deploying. As soon as I get back, how quick can I get back home? They're like, 2 months. Like, we'll start your paperwork while you're deployed. 2 months. And I was like, sick. So I leave and I had like a month of training, well, like 2 months of training because it's kind of like that training that we're not supposed to talk about, but we talked about last time a little bit. Yeah. Mixed in with a bunch of like Army combat training because like this deployment I was supposed to be like traveling all over the place. And so then I leave, dude, and I didn't see my kid for almost a year. Damn. So I was gone for 6 months. I spent a lot of time in Dubai. It was a great fucking time. I made one of my best homies ever. His name was Jeff. We called him Jefe. Nice. No longer with us. That shit still fucking stings. He got cancer from water on base at our home station. Damn. And it was aggressive bone cancer. Damn. Yeah. So I lost him about 2 years ago, but me and him lived together for about a year. We were deployed, dude. His wife fucking Dear John'd him. Damn. I was away from my kid. We were both going through it, dude. And this dude always had a smile on his face. He was also drinking a lot, but he always had a smile on his face. Yeah. And dude, we both went to some like depressive states, but we'd always push each other and be like, it's kind of like how we was like, yeah, dude, I fucking miss my family, dude. And it's like, hey, you ever thought about fucking just being better? Like, fuck, dude, you're right. I didn't think about that, dude. So our motto, that whole deployment is like, hey, you ever just thought about fucking being better? Like, we'll be in the gym together benching. And it's like, he's trying to do like bench 225 and he's starting to fail. I'm like, hey, fucking be better, bitch. You ever think about that? And he's like, you're better, right. Bro. And he'd hit it. You know what I mean? But he was like my rock during that deployment. He also almost got arrested in Dubai. Oh, fun. Yeah. So this deployment, it was like, dude, it was fun. Like, we were working hard. We were playing hard. My first deployment was a dry country. You couldn't drink at all. This deployment, you could have drinks. And the base had a bar. You'd have like 3 drinks, and they didn't do a good job of tracking it to where like other people would just like give you their drinks and shit. But it was my 5th year. It's my 5th year anniversary in the Air Force. And we're going out for a Thanksgiving party, and we went to a nice hotel that had like a fucking giant pool with a bar in it and stuff like that. And our captain was like, hey, everybody, just like on base, 3 drinks. We're like, okay, nerd. You're like, whatever, dude. You went to fucking college. What do you know? Right? And so we show up to this hotel and we just start fucking drinking. Like, I myself had 2 beers. I started and ended with a beer and had like 7 Long Islands. Goodness. And some people drank way more than me. That's a lot. Yeah, I was fucking failing it, dude. I felt great, but it's like time to go, dude. And they weren't like, that football game was on, so our DD's like, we want to go fucking watch the Vikings or some shit. And we're like, okay. And so I go up to Jeff. I'm like, hey, Jeff, dude, it's time to go. He's like, fuck you. Don't fucking tell me what to do. We're the same goddamn rank. And I was like, he's a little bit, he likes to fight when he drinks. And I was like, fuck. And then I look over and there's a tech sergeant over there or some shit. He's like, I got it. And I was like, cool. When he said I got it, I didn't realize he meant that he was going to try to get a hotel room at the hotel and keep drinking and stay there that night with a bunch of other people.
Oh.
But guess what they forgot? Their passports, which you need to stay at international hotels. So we all leave. They don't take accountability or anything like that. I get back to the hotel, dude, and I'm fucking wasted, right? I'm fucking feeling it. And my phone starts blowing up because I hit the Wi-Fi. And it's like, you fucking left 8 of us. There's 8 of us here. No one's answering us. Damn. And apparently I'm the only one getting these fucking messages. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I'll never forget. I walk into our leadership tent, and it's just my fucking chief. My chief was like fucking 75. He was a National Guard at the time. Just an old man, just in his fucking whitey tighties. And I was like, hey, we left 8 dudes. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he's like just fucking sitting there in his white ties and like, are you gonna get pants on? Because I can't fucking drive. Yeah. He's like, yeah, we're gonna go get him. I was like, all right. So while we're gone, dude, these guys are throwing up in the bathroom, throwing up in the lobby. They're not getting a hotel room. They're like, no, you can't have when you have a passport. So they're passing out in the lobby. And they're like, you need to fucking go now. Like, the hotel staff was pissed. This was a fucking nice ass hotel. And they're like, okay. And so my buddy Jeff, and like, he's the strongest motherfucker I ever met in my life. Mm-hmm. Right. And we were literally like the same weight and everything, but he used to be like body, he was just fucking jacked. Yeah. And so leaving the hotel, there's a revolving door and then 2 sets of normal doors. And for whatever reason, because someone else was drunk, that'd be a good idea to put him in the revolving door. And my boy Jeff panicked. He got halfway through the door and he freaked out and he turned around and grabbed it and started going the opposite way and broke it off the hinge.
Oh no.
Dude, they're calling the cops and shit like that as our boys roll up to get them. Luckily, we're all CE and they're like, we can fix this. And so they fix it real quick. They're like, are we good? And they're like, as long as you get out of here before the cops get here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Crazy degen.
Yeah. There's other stories too. Like I found one of my boys, I was running a roof crew. And they went like deep sea fishing the day before, and like I woke up at like 2 a.m. to piss, dude. And I walk out and I see our work truck, dude, and there's just vomit along the whole side of it. And I was like, all right, well, they had a good time. Good for them. And I go in and someone's showering at 2 a.m., which is like an odd time to be showering. I was like, that's weird. I'm going to go check on my guys, make sure they're good. They got work in a couple hours. And so there's one guy unaccounted for. And it was one of my homies. And I was like, that's not fucking good. Go check the truck, nothing. I was like, the shower was running. So I walk in, dude. No shit. This dude's fucking passed out, like fetal position, butt ass naked in the shower, just fucking sleeping, like almost drowning. The water's going into his mouth. He's like fucking coughing it up, dude. I was like, I'm not giving you mouth to mouth while you're naked, right? So I wake him like, dude, wake the fuck up. And he like wakes up. I'm like, hey, we got work in a couple hours. He's like, all right. And he shows up to work, dude, and we're like the roof crew. And so we have some like roof panels laid out. I'm like, he's got like hiccups like he's an old cartoon. Like that, yuck. And I was like, you're gonna go fucking take a nap on these goddamn panels. And he just slept all day. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck?
Drinking's very, very prevalent in the military.
Who would have guessed?
All branches. Yeah.
Yeah. That deployment was a wild roller coaster. I also got coined for saving a dude's life.
Oh, fun.
No fucking big deal. I'm just a hero. Basically a fucking doctor. So same roof crew, probably the next week. We're working on it and we're extending some stacks for like HVAC. So like sharp metal and stuff like that. And this guy's overseeing it. And he's kind of a bigger set man. And he wasn't wearing proper PPE, like gloves and shit. And he fell back, landed on that metal, and just fucking severed his hand. Ooh. Cut every single tendon. It was deep. And so we just hear, fuck. And we turn and we just see like blood kind of spraying. We're like, fuck. So me and the guy that was drunk on the roof before, like I like fucking like take off my waffle top and we start like trying to wrap it up, like, cause we don't have a fucking tourniquet or anything. Right. And like, it's so low that like my belt's not going to do shit. Mm-hmm. So we get him wrapped up. We get the genie lift. We get him off the roof, dude. And I haul ass to the base medic. I went like 60 on base, if not more. But like right before we left, I'm like, someone grab me his fucking ID. Cause he kept his ID in his top pocket. And I knew it wasn't on him. Like, grab his fucking ID. Because I knew medical was going to be a bunch of bitches. So I roll. I'm like, hey, we need fucking help now. Dude, like my waffle top, he has just fucking almost red now. I'm trying to hold pressure on it. And like, what's going on? I'm like, dude, he severed his hand. His tendons are all cut. They're like, we need his ID first. Dude, I fucking took it out of my pocket and I threw it across the counter at them. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So they end up taking him to a hospital off base and shit like that, and they're able to do like the surgeries and shit. At first, they're like, he's only gonna get like 5% movement back in his hand. He ended up getting 90.
Oh, that's good.
Was able to go back home and shit like that. Like he was okay. But my buddy Sandova, he was the one who did like most work. He's like, I threw my waffle top, and he's the one that wrapped the guy up and stuff like that. So he gets like all credit. But like, I felt so bad because he later got forward deployed to a different base. Mm-hmm. They never gave him any recognition for that shit.
Damn.
And I was like, dude, what the fuck?
That's messed up.
Yeah, that deployment was a crazy time. And then I come back, and then like while I'm there, I start like emailing my recruiter. I'm like, hey, you said we're gonna start the paperwork before like at this month, so I can get back home and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah. My recruiter's like, well, I'm about to have my baby, because it was a female. So she had her baby, and then she like pawned it off to somebody else who I never fucking heard from. So then like I get back stateside, dude, and so I was supposed to be back home like April, March.
Yeah,
didn't fucking happen.
Damn.
I didn't get home till August. My son's birthday was in May. Luckily, I made it home, like getting back from deployment, stuff like that, and processing. I made it right back before his first birthday. So I literally didn't see him for almost a year, which that's probably like the hardest time of my life, just being away from my kid for that long. And I get back to my base, dude, and they just keep fucking me. Like, well, we're going to keep you here a little bit longer. Well, we want to keep you here to September. I got fed up. Like, luckily, I knew someone at Luke. In the sea, like I met this guy when I worked in restaurants. Like I went to high school with his daughter and stuff. He was a regular at the restaurant I worked at. He absolutely adores my wife. And so like I'm sitting there and like Luke had no openings. And then I get an email one day from my recruiter like, hey, someone's looking out for you at Luke. And she forwarded me an email, and it was like, I know this airman and his wife personally. They're great people. Would they be a great addition to our base? And my first thought, no fucking joke, is who the fuck is saying they know my wife? Like, I'm deployed. Who the fuck at Luke knows my wife? Yeah. And then I was like, I texted my wife, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? And she's like, dude, you know who that is. Like, you're literally friends with him on Facebook. And I was like, oh, I didn't know he was CE. Like, I knew he was in the Air Force. I didn't know he was in CE. But literally, he's the person in charge of who comes into the base and what slot they go in.
Oh, nice.
And it just worked out by the grace of God that I got that slot.
Nice.
And he's looked out for me since. He's an amazing person.
That's cool.
So yeah, and then I finally got fed up, and I went to my base leadership and I told them what was going on. I was like, dude, I'm depressed. I've been away from my family for over a year. Right? I was supposed to be gone in March. It's now June. Like, they told me July. Now they're telling me September. Something needs to get fucking figured out now. And I talked to my first shirt about it. My first shirt's like, we had no idea about any of this. Like, this is fucked. And so they're like, okay, you're going to have a meeting with the commander, which to this point, I've never had a one-on-one meeting with the commander before. Like, I was like, oh no, I don't like this.
It's pretty nerve-wracking.
They're like, put on a nice uniform. I was like, I don't have any. I work construction.
Yeah.
So I show up to the commander, and I laid it all out to the commander about what I was going through. And the dude was like, I'm going to make a couple phone calls. He's like, I'm going to see what I can do. And I got a phone call the next day from the commander, and he's like, you'll be home in 3 weeks. And I was like, are you shitting me? And he's like, nope, you'll be home in 3 weeks. Nice. Thank you for everything you've done for us here.
Nice, man.
Yeah. But I got a big fuck you from my base at my last day.
Of course.
So we always did big going away gifts, being like the carpentry shop. Like, they used to make these wooden mugs. Mm-hmm. They were super sick. And then they started making plaques. And so they made me a plaque, and somebody stole it.
Damn.
Somebody stole my plaque. And so my going away party, I did at a Chinese buffet. It's like the only Chinese buffet in South Dakota, but we love this place. Yeah. It's like, this is where I'm having it. So I show up. And they give me a fucking poster from the hobby shop they printed out with like clip art fucking tools and shit. I've never, like, I worked so fucking hard for that base for 4 years or 5 years to get a fucking poster, when a guy that literally just separated like 2 weeks before, who's been there for not even a year, got like a 3-tiered plaque.
Yeah.
And I was like, I fucking can't stand it here. So I came back home and shot it with a shotgun.
Nice.
I was like, fuck you guys.
As one does.
One does. But that was like my transition into the reserve, which I've been doing for, like 5 years now.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we've gone over
a lot.
How you grew up, your childhood, teenage years, school, fights, going into the service and everything.
Yeah.
Working numerous different jobs, deploying the world, seeing everything.
Yeah.
What got you into like doing the art that you're doing today?
Oh, so I don't have an artistic bone in my body. I have a couple autistic bones, not an artistic bone.
Same.
Like I could never, like I'm a big ideas guy. Like
Okay,
I think we
same.
talked, like I'm really good at like coming up with ideas and stuff like that. But like translating that to paper was never my strong suit. Like I practiced before and it was fucking ass.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. People are probably tired of hearing it, but like I got told by an art teacher and I was like in 4th or 5th grade and they're like, dude, art's not your thing. And I was like, oh, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah.
So I never really pursued it. It's never been like in the forefront of my mind. And then in 2020, going into 2021, I believe, I deployed.
Yeah.
And my wife had like iPhone and stuff. My boys had iPads. And so my in-laws were super nice and they bought me an iPad so the kids could FaceTime me whenever they wanted. And I was like, oh, that's super sick. And I was like, oh, I should get like a pencil and I should get like a drawing app or something because I want to spend some time doing that. So before I left, with some help from like some homies and stuff like that, they showed me the ropes of Procreate, and I had like a cheap, and not even an Apple pencil, just like a Chinese knockoff pencil, and I just started drawing. And it was ass at first, complete fucking ass, dude. It was so fucking terrible, and I know it was. Even back then, I wasn't impressed by it, but I saw improvement. Like I was like, okay, as I'm learning things, like, oh, I should sketch things. Oh, I should sketch things in red, not black, because when I do my line work, that way I can see where my lines are going. Yeah. Stupid stuff like that. But I started seeing a progression of like, I'm getting better. And I got fucking obsessed, right? I got obsessed with the self-improvement of being better, of pushing myself. And it made me feel closer to my grandma. And she passed a couple of years ago. Yeah. But she was a big artist and she's so fucking talented. And it was just like, cooking was a big thing with her. Whenever I cook, like it's just like something I connected with her. And then doing art, it was just like a big thing for me, and I just kept doing it. And then I deployed and I drew on and off, and then I got back and I got into it again, getting better. And then I went on like military orders, I remember, and I was on orders for like 2 months. And I really didn't have shit to do at all, dude. So I brought my iPad and I was just fucking doodling and shit. And I was like, my main idea was like morale patches, because like I'm seeing these people on like Instagram, and I was like, really, when I dive into the two-way side of Instagram, and I'm like, oh, morale patches are funny. Yeah. So it's like my main idea was like to start doing morale patches. Like the first post you guys can never see on my page, which I'll always keep it there. It's like a rooster with its head cut off, some like blood out, and it's just like so no head.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I made some other ones. Like one of my favorite ones was one of the old school fucking military radios.
Oh, okay.
And it's cool. Around it was pink and green, and it said "check on the homies," and it had the suicide prevention hotline on it, and some other stuff like that. And I was just like being heavily influenced by like, I'll shout him out right now. I was like Doggy. I don't know if you follow Doggy. He just did some
super cool,
dope fucking art for Novasec. It's Novasec, right? Novasec. Am I saying that right? Noveski. I don't know why I always say Novasec. Because I'm dyslexic. Noveski. He just did some dope art for them. Yeah. So like sick. His style is insane. And so like me and him have talked before. Like he was one of my heroes, and like I took a lot of some of my style from him, of like, oh, not everything has to be a black outline. I can use multiple colors. Like it can look kind of messy, but like on the outside it looks clean. As you zoom in, you're like, oh, like these are all just kind of like thrown in there. Like the way I learned to do highlights was watching him and stuff. And then the other one was Seth Hartman, which I guess he just recently stopped doing art. But when I started my Instagram, he started a page called Pinks and Greens. Okay. And it was super sick. Dude, it was like cowboy military art. Like I just remember it's like John Wayne holding like an RPG.
That's pretty dope.
And the only colors, he used was pink and green.
Okay.
And he went through a couple of changes in art style changes and stuff like that. But I was like, I saw that shit. And I was like, oh, fuck. I love Western shit. Yeah. I like to think I'm a cowboy. Yeah. Right. So I took heavy influence from them, and then I slowly started to develop my own style that they see today, like the little UFO right there. Mm-hmm. But I really started to find my style, I guess, accidentally. Like I just started like going to like this old Western stuff, and a lot of it came out of me having a lack of skill, like just doing white lines for highlights and stuff like that. Shading was a big issue for me, so I used to never shade, and then I learned how to do heavy black shading, where like all of your shading is just straight black. That shit took me 3 months to understand. And the piece that I did on was like the artillery donkey. Yeah, you've seen it. Yep. That black, which is very minimal shading, and that took me 3 months to understand in my brain how to make it work. Damn. Like this shit ain't easy for me. So like I tell people all the time, like if you want to do art, do it. Like you can master anything with some time. Yeah. Right. Take some influences, use a lot of references, and just get after it. And I've had so many people like the coolest messages I get. And like it definitely, I could see how it sounds shitty, and some people tell me it sounds shitty, but I've had like comments or like messages just like, dude, I saw your art and it made me believe that I could do art.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how to take that. Is it because it's so fucking simple? And they're like, yeah. I was like, well, you can do it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that deployment and doing the art, and then like I was on orders, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna start an Instagram. Yeah. I don't know where this is gonna go. I was just gonna post my art, and that's when I started Vandal in 2022, in like March or April or June, March or April, something. I don't remember when, but I started Vandal in 2022, and that's kind of like when I started my art journey. So I really haven't been doing it super long, but I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's super cool, dude.
Yeah.
Like I know we talked about it a little bit on the last episode. Yeah, I think I started following you based off of because that was all that was on your page at the time, was like art or whatever. And I think I started following you maybe around when you had like maybe 5,000 followers, 6,000 followers.
That's
maybe.
so crazy to me that I was at that point.
Yeah, that's still a lot. And
that's a lot. No, that's what I'm saying. Like that to me, I thought you followed me before then, because
I may have.
To be honest with you,
I was being a little.
I went from like 2,000 to like fucking 10,000 in a matter of 2 weeks.
I do think I remember seeing that.
I think you followed me when I was like at 1,000. I was still pretty small.
Yeah.
But it changed because I started doing reels. I started doing those dumb Adult Swim reels.
Dude, the reels blow up.
They fucking blow up. And
I've yet to. I've had one where it was Fieldworks, kind of like he filmed his own video showcasing the Baja hoodies or whatever. But that was kind of like the only real viral video I've had, and it was like 30K view. But you've had videos go up to like millions.
Yeah. So I'll talk about reels real quick. Here's some value for you guys, because
spread the
I
knowledge.
didn't like reels. It took me a long time to be able to like film myself. Like I like filming myself more now, but like me and my wife just went on a trip to like Iceland, and I took like some videos of like waterfalls, because like we'd get out of the car and go on a little hike, and we'd find a waterfall. I'm like, oh, that shit's dope. But I was sitting there, I was like, I need to start doing reels. I don't really want to do like full like art videos of me doing reels, because I don't understand the camera angles or lighting, and it just looks like shit when I do it. Because I attempted it, and it looked like shit. Yeah. But I kept seeing these motivational fucking like videos where it's just like B-roll, and it's just like, be the best you could be. Yeah. And shit like that. And I was like, growing up, Adult Swim was such a big thing, and it was like always those still videos, and it was just like some out of pocket fucking text. I'm like, why don't I just do that? Yeah. Right. Because I'm not saying I started it, but like I didn't really see anybody doing that. So I just started it. And I was like, literally the first one I did was a waterfall, shitty quality, from like when I was in Iceland. And I used the Adult Swim song, like the Running Away is Easy. Yeah. You know? And then I can't remember what I put. I was like, oh, I think I put just like, fuck the ATF. Yeah. Like I just like put small text in the corner, like fuck the ATF. Yeah. And then I did another one, just drill the third hole. Right. And I did a couple of them, and then they didn't really take off. And then one day randomly, dude, they just started fucking climbing and climbing and climbing. And I was like, oh, this might be a thing. Yeah. And then so I was in Hawaii at the time on some orders with the military, which was fucking dope. And I made a reel, and it was like, it's only war crimes if you lose. Yeah. And dude, that's like fucking blew me up. Like I was getting hundreds of followers like an hour. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? In hindsight, it took me like 7-8 months to go from 0 followers to 500 followers, and then from 500 followers to like 1,000 followers, it was like 2 more months. Yeah. And then from like 1,000 followers to like 5,000 followers, it was like a couple weeks, and then 5,000 followers to like 12,000 followers, it was a couple days, and it just kept snowballing. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna post art. I'm like, I think my sister was like, I'm gonna post 2 art and then a reel, and it was like 2 art, and then I was like, you don't have to have like any paperwork for a Canon. Right. Yeah. I was like one of those. And then people are like, oh, you're right, you don't. And it's just like, to me, like I got obsessed, right? Like I got obsessed with reels. I'm like, okay, so how do I get people to see this? Because obviously I'm a small creator. People just can't. Instagram just isn't showing my shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, if I make it short, right? If I make it 5-10 seconds, okay, people might watch it 1 or 2 times before they realize this is it. Yeah. Beyond that, if they go to the comments, they're going to be here even longer, and that reel's just going to get more and more views. And then I was like, well, if it's funny, relatable, and shareable, if people share it, like the algorithm doesn't care about anything if people are sharing your reel. So I was getting like thousands of shares per reel, right? And like this didn't last, obviously. Like it slowed down a lot, and like every once in a while, like I just had a real pop off to like 3 million, which hasn't happened in like a year.
Yeah.
Which is still fucking dope that it'll happen. But that was like my game plan. But then my whole idea was like, cool. People will see the reel, they'll follow it for the memes and stay for the art, which a lot of people did. But like I've really slowed down on that side of it because I'm like, okay, well, I do know how to do videography a little bit now, but I do want to tell stories. I did start showing my face. I want to be a person. I don't want to be a meme account, right? I want to add value besides just funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to send it to my friends.
Yeah.
But there's a shift there. So I've kind of gone away from that. But yeah, no, those really helped out my Instagram like crazy. And I was telling everybody to do it. I'm like, dude, it's this fucking simple. Like I don't gatekeep anything. You ask me any questions, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a wild couple months. And the imposter syndrome definitely fucking hit hard where I was like,
sure.
I shouldn't have these many followers.
I
right?
remember
like,
us talking about that.
Yeah, like I've passed some people that like were heroes to me in the art community. Right? Like the art community in 2A is not huge. But I had these pages I looked up to, man, and I was like,
Yeah.
they had like, 5,000-10,000 followers. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm sitting here with like 20. I'm like, I'll never be there. And then I passed them. I was like, I shouldn't have passed them. That's not right. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's kind of like guilt. I was like, I'm not better like than this person. Why did I pass them in followers? To me, like followers really don't count now. Like it's cool, bigger number, better person, right?
It's just happenstance and right place, right time.
No, exactly.
It's like people try to figure out how the algorithms work and everything like that. And then
I've given up on it.
As soon as somebody figures it out, then they change it. And then
that's what kept happening. I would figure it out and they would change it. And now I'm just like, I'm just going to post what I want to post.
Yeah. The biggest thing I've seen so far is like the consistency. Like so far, if you're consistent for a long period of time, like let's say 6 months, and you post every single day, one of those is going to pop off.
Yeah.
Like as far as like reels and stuff, like one of those will go off. Like so long as you're, like you said, you're providing value, entertainment, and connectability, where like somebody is like connecting with it, like, oh yeah, I do feel that way, and it's like, oh, it's kind of funny, and like, you know what, yeah, I am going to share that because I agree with it.
And like it's difficult, man, because like I'll have these ideas for reels and stuff, and I'll put my like heart into it, and it's like barely any views. I'm like, well, the people that did like it and commented, that's what means the world to me. It's like, yeah, not everyone, like I'm not super good at like grabbing your attention right off the bat. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, like if I'm going to tell you a story, I'm going to tell you a story. And it's like, I'm not going to like do some wild hook or change the camera angle every 5 seconds. Yeah. And if people like it, they like it. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with it. People like my content and they fuck with me. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters, dude.
Yeah.
Like I think I've got like, I just hit 3,600 followers the other day.
Fucking great.
And like, I love every single one of them. Yeah. Thank you guys. Like, and like, if it blows up one day, it blows up, and then I'll probably feel the same way, dude. I'll probably feel like imposter syndrome, like what the hell is going on? Yeah. But like, I also like, I rarely post too. I probably should be better.
You do
about
rarely post.
Yeah, I should be better about posting, but it's just like, honestly, like a majority of the time, like I'm focused on other stuff, and like I'll get a little bit of creative block on like what to make, or like I don't even know what the hell to make or an idea or anything. So
no, I feel that the burnout's real, dude. I get burnt out all the time on posting, or I'll just like be focusing on art and I won't focus on like posting a bunch of shit. And then like I'll have a backlog to like post and stuff. But consistency is cool, but like people fuck with you heavy. Yeah. It's fucking sick.
What do you got any future plans or like collabs or anything?
I got a couple things in the works. I got my jewelry collab hopefully coming up.
Oh,
that's super.
Some bling bling.
Some bling bling. I know we talked about a little bit last time. I'm super stoked for that. Not too many collabs. I'm kind of like gearing back on the collabs a little bit. I'm working on a lot of commissions that are pretty dope right now, which I'm super stoked for because I just reopened my books after having them closed for like a year. My traveling sketchbook's still going around. Stoked on that. I'm going to be announcing another kind of coffee table book that I'm working on.
Nice.
I'm, again, excited for that. Stay Mental is going to be hopefully helping me film the intro for that. And it's a big community thing, which is like what I want to like strive for, is like big community stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I did like the Coors banquet reel, I was like, just send me a video of you cracking open a Coors. Dude, I got so many videos. It was sick. And I was like, man, my followers are degenerates.
Nice.
I felt bad for one guy. He went to go get. He's like, I got bottles. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I was kind of hoping for cans, but bottles will work. He's like, no, I'll go to the store and get some cans. He got hit by a snowplow. Yeah. Yeah, you said the part of the video where it's like the truck and it zooms in and there's like a hole in it.
Oh.
He got hit by a snowplow.
Oh, no.
The snowplow, it's a snowplow's fault, but like the insurance doesn't care.
It's your fault.
It is my fault. I told him, like, send me the bill. Like, I felt so fucking bad.
Oh, my God.
But he got a sick video of him cracking it in front of like his fucking truck. It's pretty fucking sick.
That's pretty funny.
Other than that, I got For the Record book coming out next year. We talked about that extensively, but it's a veterans only artists or veterans or active duty artists.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have that in hand. It's one of the copies is going to go back here for people to look at. That's going to be releasing soon. Any other collabs or plans? No, most of my efforts going into.
We'll probably do something cool and like do a T-shirt or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was gonna say most of my effort right now is going into like my commissions and then this.
Yeah.
Like this is where my heart is really like pulling me to, being like, yo,
yeah,
let's fucking get this shit to pop off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm super excited to have guests. There's a couple collabs that I'm gonna be doing with a couple guests that I'm still like ironing out the details with, but like I'm very selective on my collabs. I haven't had any bad collabs, but I'm very picky on kind of who I work with because I've seen so many people get burned. Like if we're doing a collab, it's because you're a homie.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of how I'm gonna keep it. I mean, I have a couple collabs coming up that like hopefully work out, but like it's just been either me dragging my feet or them dragging their feet just because of life happens and holidays and stuff like that. And there's a couple things where, like, I really want to release this, but I'm waiting on somebody else. So, I mean, it's hard. I'm very selfish. Like, it's hard for me to work with other artists.
Yeah.
Because like I have my vision and I want it that way. I'm sure you felt that working with me. Is like sometimes I get fucking like tunnel vision. Like it needs to be like this, which I'm trying to work on. I know it's not like the best trait, but I just have a vision and I want it to go that way. So if I ever overstep bounds, you can always tell me to fuck off.
Oh, never.
Okay.
Never. I mean, I will tell you to fuck off. I'll let you know.
Okay, yeah, that's all that matters.
It's all good. It's all good.
But going to SHOT Show, hopefully meeting some people there.
That'll be cool.
Hopefully, I got kind of ghosted by a company. I'm hoping that seeing him at SHOT will re-energize our collab that's going on and stuff like that. I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay.
I'd love to talk about that one, but I don't know what's happening with it. I'm a little.
We can talk after this about it or whatever.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, but
yeah.
No, dude, just focusing on art, focusing on you.
Oh,
what's important? Focusing on my family.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate that.
Of course.
All right. Well, I mean, we covered a lot, dude. Cooter, how long are we into this? It's late, dog.
152.
Almost 2 hours.
Still shorter than your episode.
It doesn't feel like it, dude. It feels like we've been here for a minute.
It feels like we have been. Yeah. That's because you're not talking. When you're not talking, it feels like we've been here longer.
I'm trying my best to let you talk.
Yeah, you didn't really interrupt a lot. I went on. I can fucking yap. I can yap with the best of them.
That's good, dude. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's what all these people want, dude. That's legit.
You guys don't want that.
Yeah, they do.
We all know you're the favorite. Dude, you guys hold up real quick. Main camera. I don't know if my camera gets it. Look what fucking sign he put behind me.
Oh my gosh.
What sign is that holding?
Let me reach forward here. This is the El Diablito.
El Diablito.
The little devil.
The little devil.
The little devil is a loteria card. I might be saying that wrong, but
you know more Spanish than me.
Yeah, there are meanings behind them. Like mine says El Corazon, which means the heart.
He's the heart of the podcast. I'm the fucking asshole. Is what he's telling all of you subconsciously.
I have researched like the whole background behind them, and there's different meanings behind each one and stuff like that. But
I just think they look neat.
Because of my sponge-like brain and the holes that are everywhere, I forget a lot of stuff. So I have somewhat data dumped most of the stuff that
That's fair. So fun fact, I don't have that problem. I absorb knowledge, and my autism is to hold on to it forever.
I wish I had that.
I was in 6th grade, and I opened up a textbook, and it said koala bears have 2 penises. You think I ever forgot that shit?
Is that real?
That's real. Koala bears have 2 penises.
No, they don't.
They sure do. They're like this.
Cooter, look that shit up, dude. Koala bears have 2 fucking
Why
penises.
would you doubt me? This is my tism, dude. I absorb random knowledge.
I need Cooter to look this up.
All right, Cooter.
I need Cooter to...
We need to get Cooter a mic.
I need some double verification on this. I don't know if I entirely buy. You're saying that
koala bears have 2 penises. Over, under.
Have 2 over, under?
Over, under.
Cooter, are you serious? They have 2 penises.
Over, under, right, Cooter? Like a shotgun.
Holy shit.
Hey, the more you know.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and I hope you never forget that.
I'm never gonna forget.
I said I literally opened up a 6th grade fucking textbook, dude, and for whatever reason I opened up the page and there's a koala bear and it showed 2 penises and I was like, I'm gonna read now.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Cooter just verified, everybody. A koala bear has 2 penises. I've heard that koala bears have a high tendency for chlamydia.
They do. They carry chlamydia, and they're also usually always high.
Yeah, because they get high off the eucalyptus, right? Yeah, that's right.
And was it fucking armadillos carry leprosy? So if you eat one, you have to make sure it's cooked to the right temperature. Otherwise, you could develop leprosy.
Oh my God! Did you know? That ducks have a corkscrew penis, and that female ducks have a reverse corkscrewing vagina?
I didn't know that. Hey, welcome to Animal Facts with Vandal and Gringo. Did you know that pigs orgasm for 30 minutes?
God bless.
Couldn't be me.
God bless. I wish I was a pig. I mean, some people say I am. And my wife will sometimes occasionally remind me that I am sometimes. Yeah. But fuck, that's got to be great.
And was it, I think this might be wrong, but like dolphins are the only other animal or like species, like mammal have sex for pleasure. Dolphin rape is a thing. I used to do a thing in the military, whereas December was Dolphin Rape Awareness Month. I had a slideshow and everything.
Dolphin Rape Awareness
Month. Yeah. So dolphins on average rape at least 8 people every single year. And those are the 8 people that report it, right? Because how embarrassing is it to go into a police station and be like, I was raped by a fucking flipper? Those people that report it.
Oh,
yeah, I'll never swim with dolphins.
There's people out there getting raped by dolphins.
Fucking penetrating wetsuits, dude.
Oh, my God.
And I always did it in December because, one, alliteration, Dolphin Rape Awareness Month. Right, December, dolphin rape. Okay, and
heard it here first, folks. Start training against dolphin rape.
But I do in December because I'm like, when are people going on fucking, like, tropical vacations? Well, probably in the wintertime.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, stay safe out there.
That's crazy. There's a lot going on in the sexual genitalia world of
animals.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, getting towards the end here.
Yeah.
Is there anybody we want to shout out as far as homies, makers, things of that nature?
Well, like always.
I know Stay Mental and his wife.
Yep.
I think it's Brianna, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They have started oh my goodness, I don't even
everything.
It's an everything, right? Yeah,
it's everything.
They've got a YouTube, a podcast, Instagram.
It's a full-on company to help out. Well, companies like say us, right? With their branding, their content, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they have a great podcast, Dork Social Club. Check it out for value if you're a content creator or if you're not. They just started theirs. They released it the day before we released our first episode.
Yeah.
Kind of fucked, Steven.
Yeah.
Kind of fucked. Just saying. We made our podcast studio and then you set up yours and it was super dope and you sent me videos like I just wanted to show you and it kind of hurt my feelings.
Yeah, we're over here like, hey Steven, like help us out with video tips.
It looks great.
Hey Steven, like help us out with like the autopod stuff. And we're like, he's like, yeah, given. Steven did give us the idea for the autopod, which if you're not aware is a kind of a software that will automatically edit the entire podcast.
We haven't been able to use it yet.
Haven't been able to figure it out. He's claimed that you can just, plug and play and it works. 100% of the time.
We figured it out, but we fuck up on our end with like the cameras and stuff to where it doesn't work. It's fucked.
Yeah. We first it was because we were filming vertical, which the first episode is like that.
Yeah. And then camera's dying.
Horizontal, the camera's dying, and now we're filming horizontal. I just went like this horizontal. Because now we're filming horizontal, so hopefully that format is supposed to work with the autopod or whatever and all that editing.
But anyways, please check them out. They're such amazing people, some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. I've worked with Steven before even the podcast. I have done some art for him. He's helped me out with videos and stuff.
Yep, he's helped me out with some videos and stuff too. Just out of the kindness of his heart.
He's a nice guy.
He's a great individual. Him and his wife, they're
amazing.
They're amazing.
The best of people.
So, but yeah, we're hoping to have them on eventually.
Oh yeah, they'll be one of the first guests, and we're gonna have. I think, to me, can we announce the first guest? Because
sure,
like the first official guest with me and you doing it, it's gonna be Snakebit.
Yes,
Snakebit Knives. He is one of the first homies I made on Instagram.
Yep.
Honest to God, him and Steven are two of the nicest people I've ever met. They're actually homies.
Yeah.
Snakebit's the reason why I know Steven.
Yep.
I met him through Snakebit, and Snakebit makes amazing knives. He's an even amazing person. He's going to be our first official guest on here as soon as we get a third chair.
Yep.
I'm super stoked to have him on. He actually texted me today because our first episode went live, dude. And he was just like, hey, man, watch the first episode, dude. I'm so fucking proud of you. You're doing it. He's like, hey, things are only going to get better. And not saying that he's like, he's like, you're doing it. You're sticking with it. It's going to get better and better. He's like, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, well, fucking dude. Trying to make me cry right now?
Yeah, he's super cool. And I haven't met him officially in person, but I've just kind of like talked to him and stuff and like gotten to know each other over, online and stuff. And super cool dude from what I can tell. Dude, all of his content.
It took me over a year to meet him in person, and he lives like a couple hours away.
Yeah. So I'll say, I asked him if he could help me with a knife design. So that way, I eventually could, do a little collab knife for the peoples on my side. So if you're part of my peoples, look out for that. Hopefully I have no timeline yet.
Or if you're my peoples, look out for that because we support each other.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a weird way to put it.
We're all one thing now.
You're all segregated now. Either you're Team Vandal or Team Gringo. Fucking decide now. There'll be a poll.
God. Yeah, whatever. But so yeah, that should be coming. I have no timeline or anything on that yet, but I'm also not rushing him. He is an artist.
He's a busy man,
and he's a busy man. So whenever he gets time to do it, that's whenever he gets time. So, but yeah, man. Anybody else? We had a lot of people support us with the first episode today.
A lot of people.
We had
shout out. Ed, dude.
Ed Calderon.
Ed Calderon, dude.
He's a good dude.
He fucking, as soon as I saw that he posted the podcast, I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah, he ended up following and stuff. He's a super cool guy. And
a lot of support. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for sharing the podcast, for just listening to it, for bearing with us through all of this. I know I literally got like one of the first messages I saw this morning, dude. It was like, you two are awkward as fuck.
Yeah.
I love it. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, it got better throughout the episode. And I was like, yeah, episode 2 is better. And they're like, okay.
Episode 2 is a little bit
better. At least they found it was like, you're awkward as fuck. I love it. And I was like, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Fair enough. Yep, that's all good. But we had a lot of homies help like spread the word today. We had, Steven Estate Mental, Dork Social Club, it was Snakebit, Fang Bros, Grain and Labor, a lot of people. If I haven't named you, I apologize, but there was a lot of people.
We're kind of big deals now.
No, we're not big deals. I don't say that.
We're not.
But thank you seriously to everybody. Like he said,
what he did meant to say is that we're big deals. You should sponsor us.
Yes. So we are looking for sponsors.
I feel
that the last 3 episodes.
I want to make it a running joke. Like, hey, if you want to sponsor the school, if you don't, you don't. We're not here for the money.
I've sent the videos to Cider Core.
Have you really?
I have. My phone's obviously recording right now, so I can't see if he's responded or anything. But yes, I have sent the videos and be like, hey, there's a kind of a little debut for you guys in there too.
That's
literally
funny.
Our very first episode. So
no, we're not here for the money, man. And
no,
that's the basic. It's just like we're just here hanging out, having fun with our homies.
Yeah, I mean, of course, eventually we would love to do this like full time. Like
that would be sick.
That would be a blast. But like obviously, like we're realistic and stuff. But it's just we're
dude,
doing
Cooter doesn't even have a mic right now.
Yeah, like, Cooter's got a set of headphones,
and he's got a lovely voice.
That's it. Cooter's got a fold out chair.
He does. We need to get him a chair.
And a set of headphones.
Cooter.
We got to get Cooter a TV to pull up shit on the internet. We got to get him a microphone so he can chime in and say some shit or talk shit to us. And yeah, we got to get Cooter included.
What do you want first? A microphone or like a better chair? That doesn't fucking answer my question, you bitch. If you're not going to say words, you're getting a chair first.
Oh, young Cooter. Oh, young Cooter.
Fucking making crash out right now.
Cooter will fucking get your ass.
I know
dude.
he will.
He'll get your ass.
Oh fuck! I'll get mine.
Oh,
I'll get
gosh.
mine.
All
I'll
right,
get
dude.
mine.
Well,
Ain't no glasses for you to steal here.
well, is there anything else you wanted to go over? Talk about?
No,
Anything?
dude. I appreciate you letting me yap so much. I know it was a lot of me talking.
Yeah, man, no,
Thanks for giving me the platform to talk about myself. I guess there's a lot more to myself that even like thinking I was like, oh, I should have talked about this. But hey, we're on episode 3. We got plenty of time to talk about shit. Thank you guys for caring enough to tune in and
people will find out more as we go along, dude.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well,
yeah, start fading us out there, Cooter man.
We love you.
We love you. Just
say it back.
Say it back,
please.
Say it back, please.